Here.
All right, we will open this meeting of December 11th, 2014. Let the record show everyone is present. John Scanlon is on his way shortly. Will be present and not on speakerphone. First,
Not on,
no, he is coming at 3:15.
but not on speakerphone?
Not on speakerphone. He's
Oh.
present.
Oh, my goodness.
That's the reason for starting early, because he is available. That's why we changed the schedule around and brought Lauren in a little bit earlier. Okay, first things first, we have Lauren.
Are they put there?
Yes.
I thought I saw something.
Yeah, they are. They drove Johanna last night crazy. Budget committee.
No, well, that explains it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're probably as old as the building.
Sorry, Johanna, I didn't mean anything by it.
It has something to do with the battery backup being beeping all the time, because the Christmas lights were going off as well. See, they're blinking?
Yeah, it's gotta be the backup.
Right.
So I'm here, you
What's
want
it
to
doing
talk
to
to
my
me about
computer?
Tilton School. I think that was the first thing.
Right. Refresh my memory, I think we wanted it, they're looking at, they're concerned because
Okay.
their taxes went up. And I know you did your due diligence back there and warned them back in June. I saw the emails back and forth.
I was frustrated to get that correspondence after they had the bill, given that I had sent all that information over that's why I sent it back, because we were trying to be proactive.
Yeah.
Let's work on this together. Let's make sure it's all up to date and accurate. Oh, sorry. Let's make sure it's all up to date and accurate before the bills go out, so that we don't have to wait till the 11th hour and go through the abatement process. But in the end, that's where we are right now. And I know that there was some, I don't want to say concern, but that there was, the board was interested in taking another look at the Tilton School properties anyway, because we no longer have an agreement right now.
Right.
So I reiterated that to Beth as well, that if we're going to get to the 11th hour and we have to go through the abatement process anyway, we might as well look at everything. So that's where I left it with her, and we'll need to schedule that. I'm assuming the board members want to walk through this at the school again.
Yes.
How did she feel about that?
She was open to it. She said, whatever you need. I think she realized at that point, like I said, that I had sent that information to her early on in June, I think it was, and the last response I got was, everything looks good. So,
Yep.
now that they got the bill, everything doesn't look so good, which happens sometimes, so.
Well, I think they're a wonderful partner with the town, and I love Tilton School, but, my feeling is that everybody pays their fair share, and if you say it's worth a certain amount, I have to assume it is.
Yeah, well, we'll go out and look at it as far as, because my value of the properties was based on what they submitted as far as percentages of exemption. They've always been pretty honest with what's happening in their buildings. This one's no longer in use as a faculty housing, and now it's being rented, or vice versa. So I don't think like the classroom buildings are an issue. We know what those are. Those aren't really the issue. It tends to be the buildings that have a mixed use in them, that have faculty housing and apartment rentals, or
Do you do a percentage, the apartments take up so much space, or whatever it is?
Last time when we walked through everything, we typically could do it floor by floor. The first floor might be an apartment that's rented, so I could figure out how much space of the total square footage was taxable and how much was exempt, and we did it that way. it's, like I said to her, we weren't going to get into an exact science. At first, when we walked through it the first time, I don't know if you remember, Catherine, they wanted, like, to split the hallways and the
Yes,
dorms.
I remember that.
And I'm like, no, this is a dorm building, and you may have some spaces that are used for faculty housing, but they have their own entrances and exits, and this is a dorm. We're not, if we are going to split every hallway, and,
The lounge is where some teaching goes on.
yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, we came to
Yeah.
a resolution on most of that was fair for all, but that was not splitting hairs, there's just no...
How do you calculate that? If a hallway is only on a dorm, it doesn't come out of the entire, do you do it by the entire square footage?
Well, that's
which would
what, I
include
didn't want to, I
hallways?
did not want to get into that. If you have a dorm building and it's, got attic space that's just used for storage and it's got basement that's used for storage, it's still a dorm building. And so, at first, that was the kind of splitting hairs we were getting into. Well, look, this is just storage for school supplies, so this is exempt. Well, if we're going to get that succinct, the job's never going to get done, and I think if the building is designed as a dorm and it's taxable
Dorm.
because of that, it's a dorm, and that
Dorm.
means floor to ceiling. There were definitely designated areas within that were faculty housing or study areas, because they do change things based on their enrollment. If their enrollment's up and they need more dorm space, then everything turns into dorm space. If their enrollment's down and they might let the maintenance guy live there, or, so, and those spaces would be taxable then. So that's the tracking that we need to do, but we didn't get so into the minutia of it, because I just don't think you can get that specific unless you're going to go in there with an architectural program and be able to draw it out.
So going forward, do you think that we can come to a resolve on going again on the property?
Absolutely.
And then going like we did before with a 5-year agreement or whatever?
If the
We're
board
talking
wants to enter into
school,
a...
John.
Yeah, if the board wants to enter into another agreement and we can do that, I don't see why not. It's good for all parties if there's a set, parameter. The only thing I think that was lacking in the last agreement was we were going to lock into these values and they weren't going to change until this year. And
Okay.
in between, there could be some significant changes, and we still want to be aware of those on an annual basis and make changes as a result of that, because enrollment does change.
Now,
And
what about the field now, the turf field? Is that?
yeah, that came off. That's exempt.
Okay.
The
That was-
entire Lawrence property is exempt. Even the part that doesn't have a field on it and is just, okay.
Yeah.
I love it when they buy property.
Well, and that was, yeah, there was a couple of them.
If they redo the inside of a building and change the use or whatever, the school still has to get a building permit?
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yep.
So we would know if they made significant changes along the way
The problem is,
through that process.
if they're making changes like that, but that's not typically what we're seeing. It's a change of it going from a faculty apartment
Right.
to now it's going to be a dorm
classroom.
room with,
There's no construction that takes place.
right, there's no construction, it's just they're changing who's going to be
Change of
living in it.
use.
Right,
Which would
So-
affect the,
right.
or vice versa. It was a dorm, now it's faculty.
Exactly, it goes both ways, right. So, and that depends on their enrollment. So I think an agreement is good. I think they're open to that.
It behooves them to inform us
Well,
of
because
those
then they
changes.
can know, right.
Sure.
But then as the changes come about, those are things that we need to know timely, so that I can then make the changes, get it back to them, so that we're not doing it in the 11th hour through an abatement process. Because we're going to agree on a base if we do that, and then any changes we'd want to talk about throughout the process, so that we're not fighting annually with them.
Why isn't the field taxed?
Because it's in use for school
Not
purposes.
education.
I know.
Well, it's not education.
I know either is the
Oh,
right.
well, there is an educational
of
factor. You
the-
learn teamwork, and there is, they can argue that, I'm sure.
It's been fought.
All you have to do is
Look at
take-
the St. Paul's decision, it's been
Yeah.
fought. All of that land and building that's used to support, whether it's for an arena or a tennis court, and while they're not learning history there, it's part of the
They're
whole.
certainly not learning history on that field.
But that's still pursuant to the statute. Like I said, I don't make the state law, Al, I just try to tell you what it says.
It's case law now.
And there's quite a bit of case law on it with St. Paul's School, because the city was taxing a good portion of St. Paul's School, and they lost, and appealed, and lost. So it's on record.
Well, I believe you, I just,
And if we did it
I know,
to
you just don't
Tilton
like
School, we
it.
got to do it to Winnisquam Regional?
No,
Why? It's a school, right?
we don't tax
The district.
the public school district. That's a
It's a
separate
private school.
municipality within the town of Tilton.
It's still within the town of Tilton.
It's
yeah, but
it's
you're
like
paying
having,
for it already.
it's
Yeah.
a boundary.
You're paying,
the only
It's
one.
still town,
You're not
yeah.
paying for this.
They
up
are
here.
exempt anyway, aren't they?
right, it's a private entry, and we pay taxes on,
Oh, when
opposed
it's
to a public.
Oh,
It is a district.
yeah.
Don't get us,
How about if during the summer they have
We only pay
conferences and things
30%.
like that? Does that change the use of it?
The school?
The school, or if they house people that are attending conferences?
It's their predominant use. So just like a church that only uses the building, say, on Sunday for services, and then they rent it for a wedding or for anything like that, the predominant use is a church, and those are ancillary uses, and they're still allowed to even charge a fee for them, and typically, it's nominal to cover the cost of lights and, cleanup crew and that kind of stuff. So it does allow for that. It's got to be the predominant use.
so going forward, if we set up a meeting, you can set up a meeting with Beth, and we could go forward with
Yeah, we'll have to
what all
probably
of us
do.
would like to
If you all
tour.
want to attend that, then, it'd probably be better for you to tell me what works for you guys, and we'll try to coordinate something with,
I'll be there whenever I need to be there, pretty
Joyce?
much.
You can coordinate that? Yep. All right. Okay, so the other thing is
contract.
contract.
I had sent Joyce a 5-year renewal contract, and then we had talked about some change in staff here and how that would affect the contract if some clerical function was taken over by town staff. So I had revised, did you all get a copy of that?
No, I've got it right here.
Oh, okay. So I had revised my contract.
We're looking at her blankly, and she's saying, did you all get a copy of that?
Well, we discussed it, but I hadn't seen the actual
Have
contract.
the original one. This is the revised.
And I know you were talking about going out to bid for services. So, I mean, obviously, I wouldn't recommend that. No, and I don't mean it that way. For the 2015, where we just did the update, and it's this late date, you're looking for assessing services that are going to start on January 1st. So it's kind of late to go out into the marketplace to look for that, because it's quite a procedure to send out an RFP and elicit enough time to get a response back, and then review it and interview and all that goes along with it. And because we did do the update last year, we're obligated to do your abatements under that update contract, but all of your appeal work that would normally come out of that, if, say you went with another company to do your assessing work in 15 and something comes up for appeal, we'll still defend that for you, but that's at a per diem rate. So something to keep in mind if you were to go out and find someone else to do your assessing work in 15. So if you're interested in staying with us for 15 and you still want to go out to bid, I would urge you to sign the contract as just a 1-year contract, and then, late summer, go out to bid, give yourself an opportunity to be able to compare apples to apples, have time. It's we got a couple weeks left in the year, so, I mean, it's kind of late to go out. So I had changed the contract price, like I said, initially, the contract was similar to what we had done in the past 5 years, knowing what you've needed for assessing services, and then I've reduced that by about $5,000 a year, with the understanding that some of that clerical function would be now absorbed and done at the local level here by Dari.
2014, what was our cost?
You would have had the update as well as contract assessing.
Contract assessing was 23,400, and the update was 68,500.
So the contract, that was our one that was in place. So our contract, I kept the cost the same for you going forward. So
Yep.
there was no increase in cost. But if somebody else here is going to be taking on some of that clerical function that I've been doing for you over the years, then, we can save you some money and
Right.
have town employees do that work.
So is there any language in this that describes,
I put on the back page, Catherine, of the revised one, just a little kind of addendum to highlight what the difference was. And I just wrote, I've reduced the original proposed CA amount from $23,400 annually to $18,495 in recognition of the fact that land use will be handling clerical functions,
Okay, right here.
abatement disposition, yield tax, land
Page
use, sorry, I just got a tickle in my throat. To just kind of summarize what some of those clerical functions would be, and highlight what the savings over a 5-year contract would be. And no, while I was joking about going out to bid, I would never actually tell you not to go out to bid. It keeps everybody honest. It's not a bad mechanism to see what else is out there. I would just urge you, if you go through that process, whether it be this year, next year, to, get that information back and to just put it on a spreadsheet and do an apples-to-apples comparison, and
Well, I feel compelled
here
to go out for bid, not because I'm dissatisfied with your service, but we have a procedure here that anything over a certain amount has to go out for bid.
yeah, absolutely. And when you're a board here today making a decision on anything, that next year that board could be different. So anytime you're making a decision for a long-term agreement, it's a good procedure to follow. So I said that jokingly, but I just wanted to clarify, I would never honestly say that, though.
who determined what clerical functions that we would take over?
That was kind of a combination of me and Joyce, and discussing what Dari could take on in the time that he would have allotted to do that. So, that could vary based on what the board wants him to do, if that's his position. But it was basically the clerical function that I've been doing that typically an assessing clerk would be doing, if you had one
Well,
here.
I'm looking at abatement disposition, that's not just entering data.
The abatement disposition that's just filling up.
That's just once you have,
Made a recommendation.
so this is just taking care of it after it's been signed by the selectmen.
The disposition is actually filling out that form that the board will sign. So generally, when I'm in a town, for example, and I'm the assessor, and they have an assessing clerk, I write a letter of recommendation that for these reasons, the abatement should be granted, and this should be changed, and that should be changed, and the value is this. And then the board acts on it. Here, I always fill out that actual disposition form that the board signs. So I'm doing all of that additional paperwork stuff that's...
Okay, so it is
I'd
clerical.
still be making you the recommendation. That would still be coming from me.
And I'd still be calculating the refund check. Based upon that.
It's just some of the research and clerical functions that have been additional, that if somebody can do here and save time, it'll ultimately save the town time and money.
And so a lot of it is just the research.
Yeah.
Because Dari can do a lot of that now.
Yeah. whether it's deed research or, there's a lot of that for land use change tax, and a lot of time spent on the registry, searching deeds and original filings of applications and all that kind of stuff, so.
Now, would you see, I mean, I know you still give us the hours each month, but would you reduce the number of office hours in town per year?
I think I just gave Catherine the schedule. I've got, I think, 11 days on there. So still, on average, 1 day a month. If you don't think that's needed, I just think it's still difficult if taxpayers want to meet with the assessor to say she's not going to be here for 2 months.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, it is wrong.
So it's worked.
If I want to meet with the assessor, I want to meet with the assessor.
Well, and that, I mean, that was, I even met with a gentleman today who, he's like, well, I came in 2 weeks ago, and he was mad he had to wait 2 weeks to meet with me, so I can't imagine if it was 2 months. So, would you need me here a full day, 1 day a month? We may not, but I just thought that
Best to have you.
the presence at least once a month
Right.
is still needed, and if it's a half
And
a
it's
day,
a
it's a
fun
half
place to
day.
hang out.
Of course it is. That's why I come, just to hang out. And I got cookies today.
When is our contract?
January 1st.
January 1st, so we have till January 1st to make a decision on this.
Well, you can take as long as you want. Just effective end of December, you have no contract.
And January 1st, as long as they're here, we owe the money.
If for some reason we were to go past January 1st,
Yep.
can we go month to month on the contract we have now, so that we're not completely uncovered, and still pay the fee as it is
We'd have to
now?
have an agreement. Right, we don't have one currently, so if you don't have an agreement, the law says I can't work anywhere unless we have an agreement. So if it's a month-to-month thing, until you make a decision, that's fine, too. But we have to sign an agreement
Just in
saying
case,
that's what
because
we're
we
going to do.
still only got 2 weeks
I know,
to do
I know.
this.
Yep,
I'd rather
So,
have done it in August, probably.
1 week.
yeah, with the holidays.
1 week.
Yeah. So that's up to you. If you want to, you're not going to make a decision till end of January, let me know, and I'll do up an agreement that just says, until you make a decision, that I will handle it on a month-to-month basis. and we'll
Prorated,
go. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So that way you don't have loss of service.
One thing to consider, though, is that the deadline for abatements is March 1st. So,
That'd be great.
since Lauren sent the values, she can defend the values, so as abatements come in, she can deal with them then. And then the appeals to the Board of Tax and Land Appeal or to Superior Court would be in September. We'll have a pretty good idea of what the appeals are coming in after March 1st, just what the workflow will be. So it doesn't, and what I see happening right now is deciding whether or not you want to go with a contract at the reduced rate or if do things going the way they are for the year, and then you do the RFP.
There's a lot of conversation yet to have on this issue.
So did I hear you say that you gave Catherine a schedule that had 11 days for this year?
For 2015.
But yet this agreement says once a month. Oh, I see. There it is, on average.
Yep.
Did anybody come in to talk to you today?
Yes.
His mind's all fried. He told you that.
Yes, I had four or five taxpayers that came in today.
I told you I wasn't
Joyce,
quite
do we
right.
make a point of basically advertising when the assessor is in town hall and available?
No, we just do it through regular conversation as requests come in. We get requests daily throughout the day. Either people come in or call, and we do our best to answer the question. We make sure that they have a copy of the property record card, answer as much as we can that it's not value-related, and then we say, would you like us to make an appointment for you with
So
the assessor?
we don't post anything on the website that says,
No, well,
So we'll
yeah,
be
it's
in
just
on-
that, we just haven't had the need.
that we're aware of.
I was going to say, in 2006, when I started, I was coming here frequently, and I had meetings from 8 a.m. until 5 o'clock, and hardly got time to eat in between there or
I see it.
have a bathroom break. Yeah, it was, and it's changed, it's evolved. I've been here a long time now. I think it's worked well, and people know who I am. They come in, and if they have a concern, they go through Catherine or Joyce, and, that's who they call. If they call to complain in any way, shape, or form, they're going to get either Catherine or Joyce for that. And then they get scheduled to meet with me.
I've had people periodically come up to me and say, Wendy, I want to talk to the assessor. I was like, well, she was just here last week. Well, I didn't know that. That kind of conversation.
Well, we could have the schedule assessor going to
Posted
be
on the
here,
website.
scheduled on the website.
Absolutely.
That would be a good idea. That way they would
One of
know
the-
and could plan
One of the
accordingly.
towns I work in actually posts it on their, where they post their regular meetings. It's posted the day
That's
I'm
a
coming
great
here, the
idea.
same idea.
Because
So
I never know when you're going to be here.
Yeah, I think it should
Just
be.
come in and, oh, she's,
Oh, there's Lauren.
yep.
Well, no, you're usually, what, the second or third Thursday?
Yeah, and the only time that varies for them is if I have court, then I have to reschedule.
On vacation.
Well, I usually know that when I give you the dates, so I try to work around that. And then, like I said, court gets scheduled, and sometimes I have to move. But I usually know that at least 30 days in advance, so it's not, and we could usually move it to, the next day or the following week or whatnot, so that there's no
Well, I'd like
loss
to
in
see
time.
that schedule posted on the website and downstairs. What does everyone else feel?
Yeah, I didn't realize it wasn't, but we should at least give them the information.
You may want to make
what
a
they do with
decision
it.
about the contract before you post the days that I'll be here.
Well, yeah. Absolutely.
That's a good point.
But I don't want you to think that people can't access assessing services.
Oh, I know they can. I've had assessor problems myself in the
It's
past.
just daily, it's just part of our job.
And Dari's dealing with a lot of that now.
Yes, he's
People
one.
come in and land use and end up asking him a lot of questions, and, so he'll email me or call me and try to get a response immediately, so no one has to wait. If we can answer their
Yeah,
question.
we can. Or if it's an emergency or something, we can always email or call Lauren, or say, Lauren, can you give so-and-so a call? So.
No, I know it's not a giant mystery, but I think having the information out there once the contract
Yeah, I still
is
think it
in
should be
place
posted, though.
gives people another resource.
When is our budget theoretically done?
Tonight. We present it to the budget next week, Wednesday.
It'll be a late night, okay.
Yep.
All right, I was only supposed to be 15 minutes according to the schedule, but I just looked, I'm like, whoops. Do you have any more questions for me?
Are you on overtime?
No, not.
Oh, okay.
No, it doesn't matter to me. I was scheduled originally at 4:45. I just got told today,
Oh, there
when I
you
got
go.
moved, that I only had 15 minutes, so I was trying to be succinct, but it never works out that way.
Well, if
We get talking.
we weren't talking about the contract, it wouldn't have lasted as
Yeah.
long, no doubt.
We always are flexible, and when we set the schedule, we have to be flexible.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I was here either way, so.
Yeah,
Okay, is there any other questions for Lauren? No. So we'll think about it, or are you folks ready to make a decision?
and I have some things I think we should discuss it.
Okay.
I agree with Lauren's assessment of the 2015 year, but I still have items for discussion.
Okay. John?
The same thing, yeah.
All right, so we'll take it up at another time.
I'll get out of here so you can.
Thank you,
Well,
thank you,
1
thank
year
you.
versus 5, and
Yeah, absolutely. And if I can give you any more information,
All right.
date, I'd be happy to do so.
We'll call you.
Call me. Call me,
Thank you.
email.
thank you, Lauren.
No problem. Have a
Good night,
great
Lauren.
day.
Thank you.
And have a
Thank
nice
you.
holiday. I'll see you.
You too.
Yes, you too. Thank you.
Buy that husband Harley, okay?
Yeah. Gonna wait till she signs the contract first.
Yeah. If that's what's going to take.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that would cover.
Well, then,
There's two things that just came in within the last half hour that would be non-public for later.
We have a non-public for personnel, we can add to it for that as well.
Under my agenda items, the work that she produced today, I just put them in the to-be-signed file, so just hold on to them when it's my time. I'll explain.
You said you didn't need time.
yeah, well, you know.
No, you're not. We asked you twice,
Okay, well, I'm sorry, she,
because you said you didn't have any
Well, I have some questions.
We'll fit you in, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
have a
I have some
problem with that.
questions on some of those, so.
Okay.
On the dispositions of the, yes, yeah, I need to explain that.
I have no problem with that. Do you want to do get started on the budget now? Is Tim available or no?
He's not available.
And he won't be available? He'll
He
come
wasn't
later
sure,
for
he's at
finance?
the PD.
Okay. Do you have updated sheets for us?
The same ones from
Do you-
last time. Nothing's
Does
changed.
anyone have their 1.4 draft that we can make a copy of?
What's a 1.4 draft?
Right here.
Of the budget?
I don't see the number, but this is the latest one.
Catherine, can you get a, do you
109.
have this one?
1.4.
This is one more
What
word.
does it say?
Nope. That's not it.
Okay.
That's the one he
This
gave
is
us
what
last
I've got.
Catherine, can you get a copy of this for me? This is one of the ones that got wet on me today.
What do you need, another?
I've got 1.3 here, I can do it here.
I don't see it, but
This
Wait a minute, she
machine
might have another
likes
copy.
it.
Is that an
I
extra?
put one in your, did you find the one? I put in?
No, that's a different one. No, that's...
maybe.
Oh, then I don't have.
Okay. We're working off of,
Yeah,
we're
this
working off,
stuff is all last
Right
week.
there.
Oh,
we're working off
Down
that
my
one right
copies of
there.
that?
Do you need a copy to follow along with us?
I think I have one.
It says 1.4 on it.
No, does anyone else need copies? I'll go downstairs.
I've got one here.
Catherine's making one now.
Okay, you could make an extra one, please.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if
Thank you
I...
very much.
Anybody want some fruit?
Is this it?
It says 1.4, no.
V 1.4 right across the top, John, if it doesn't say that.
I never heard
In
that.
big block letter.
No, the one I asked you to copy was the one that I needed, but I didn't realize that the other one got wet as well. Let's clean this up. Trying to get this undone,
I gave that to us.
so people can have some fruit. Because we're a no chocolate office now.
I got another 1.3.
No nonsense. That's right, people. She said no chocolate. Who's gonna say it?
I feel like a bad influence now. I got off chocolate, and now you guys think you got it. You don't.
From last night?
Especially you, Pat.
I've got 1.4.
What?
Did you have any budgets for last night?
1.4.
Yes, they,
We're going to be working from...
they did, Red Cross for 500. And they did,
Make a decision on,
the Pines, they held off.
parks,
Nope,
on,
Parks is part of Selectmen.
no, I mean,
No,
I think it was scheduled
Pines.
for the...
did they make a decision on Pines?
no.
Aren't they
They-
going to? That was on their agenda.
They tabled it again because, number one, Northfield hasn't made a decision, and I said,
That's got nothing
we
to
don't
do with
really hear
nothing.
about that. John Hughes. And then they felt that there was still a lot of unanswered questions because they asked for the financial transactions. We hadn't received them yet. We got the answers back on the monies received, income coming in, including the towns, is $260,000. And,
This page, I don't know where it goes, it flopped out. Do we need another one of these?
I got one.
I need
all set.
mine.
I don't have one.
You have them back?
she said this flopped out, so you had to put it back.
Oops.
Oops.
Page 7.
Was there a decision on New
We
Beginnings?
did, mine got wet.
Hers got wet.
This is
You're
mine.
welcome.
Rain?
I'll discuss it in a
No.
non-public.
You notice how I pulled the grapes just for the meeting tonight?
That's pretty funny.
Thank you.
Peek through in between.
Very nice, refreshing to have fruit at a meeting, isn't it?
I'm thinking,
I'm all
trying to
about
lie to
this.
yourself or something? Convincing yourself? No?
I'm enjoying it.
I feel better at the end.
John, you want some fruit?
Not so much during the meeting, but I feel better at the end.
Just grab a bite before I came in here, so I'd make it
Well, I
through
do have a
the evening.
cookie.
But it's really good. Did they make a decision on New Beginnings?
for me?
Oh, I thought I gave it to Catherine.
I'll make one.
Did they talk about New Beginnings last night?
Yes,
And that's
they approved New Beginnings, and they gave 500 to Red
Red
Cross,
Cross,
and they
which is
tabled,
same as last.
they're asking for Jim to come in because they have more
That's right, you've got
questions.
one of those.
I had suggested it. If they have more questions, they might as
Yeah.
well just bring them in.
So did you want to do like last week, or did you just have questions about
Let's not go through each one, please.
If we have questions.
Which one are we doing?
We're starting with admin.
Admin, okay.
Here you go, Pat. Go ahead and start.
Thank you.
Go ahead and start.
Oh, I see.
I thought I was only making one
I was
copy.
gonna say the very first line went up,
Right.
what's up with that, but I know what's up with that.
What is a pro paddle?
What?
Pro paddle.
What department?
Home Hardware, Highway Building Grounds Maintenance. It's just curious.
Interesting.
Belmont Hardware is probably a part.
It's 22 and a half inch.
There's another one over there.
Be a part, probably.
Sounds like something for a cement thing if you
All right. So, Selectmen, trustee, the salaries are self-explanatory.
Screech, line
Sep-
3.
Yep.
If we only use $931, why are we requesting $1,560?
We level funded.
Can we under-level fund? If we really need to, I don't want to raise a penny we don't have to raise. If we need that money there.
What is
so
that for?
That will go to pay part-time minute taker wages at the town clerk tax collector's office. That's an hourly position, the deputy, if they are required to work overtime.
Really?
Those are the two primary.
And we're using the minute taker.
Yeah, I understand
now.
that. But doesn't the TCTC have an overtime line that they
No.
would? Then why not?
Administrative.
It's all under admin. If you notice, all of the administrative departments, meaning those departments that are right here in the town hall that report to the selectmen.
Land use
All of
and-
their
yep.
payroll and benefit line items are all grouped together here. They're not grouped, like highway is separate and public works is separate, police department is separate, all admin is all
Yeah,
in
but
this
the
budget.
town clerk tax collector have their own block here. That's why I couldn't figure out why
Same with
that.
finance, but they all their benefits and payroll-related line items are
Okay,
budgeted
all right. I
under
get it.
admin.
Okay, I personally would like to see it stay the same because we are going to use, if we've used $931 of that, we will be using more of that.
We still got
The
bills
first
coming
quarter.
in from this month, too, I would imagine. All right.
Catherine?
Why did compensated absences go up so much? Because that's certainly not level funded. What are we anticipating?
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it? Okay, got it.
Merit raise pool is per the, okay, good. Postage has needed to go up for quite a while.
It's interesting because we do more and more via email.
What, in 2012, we spent $1,500 on printing, and then 13 and 14, we did not. Even though it can't be the annual report, because we've been printing that in-house way before 2012.
Is that now on a different line?
So why is our printing gone down?
And that's
And I
interesting
assume
that
that's
the
outside
expense,
printing.
the expense would be an exact amount like that. I don't know,
It's
I would
got
have
to be
look.
in a different line. 'Cause we still spent the money to
Well,
print
all
those
of your,
reports.
all of your cartridges and everything like that is under IT now, toner, all of that, so that
Yeah, oh,
reduces
I
it.
see, I
Outside
see, and
printing
the
is-
amount went down correspondingly.
This is printing
sorry.
we have done outside of town hall.
No, this printing is, that 500 is our annual report. That's purchasing the paper and the toner for the annual report.
So he
Why-
must
why
have
it
bought a
was-
lot of supplies in 2012 for it, and we're still using them?
That I don't know. Before I leave, I can look and see what 2012, it's just
Well, let's put
unusual
a
that
question mark there.
that
you
that it
want
would be
this one?
such an even number.
Do you have notes on this one?
How about postage? The last 2 years, we've overspent that line item. Is there any reason to think that we won't overspend it again?
No, we don't have any major warrant articles, we don't have any major projects that we're putting
Yet.
forward.
Yet. Still time for
We try and
that.
do as much by email as possible.
What equipment are we planning on purchasing?
Well, this was for a folder that will fold the tax bills and put them into an envelope. And it could also be used by the sewer commission and by finance for when they're mailing out, or the selectmen do a major mailing. But what I'd like to put in there, and I checked on some prices online today, it'd be about $1,200, is we'd like to move from, that are currently in the assessing room, all of the elderly exemption applications, all the veterans applications. They take up a whole drawer in the assessing room, and we'd like to put that into the selectman's office, have another locking fireproof file cabinet, because
We have
right now...
room for that?
What's that?
In the selectman's office, yes, because we would get rid of where the server is, that's eventually
Yeah.
going to move.
Yeah,
But we
okay.
also have our payroll files, they're just jam-packed in there. I've moved a lot of the inactive employees downstairs, in the room downstairs, but at least once a week, I've got to go down there to pull one up, because something will come through that I have to look up the inactive employee information. The legal files that we have, if you look at my desk, underneath the floor there, what you see mostly are legal files that need to be filed, and there's just no room in,
So that'll help clean up your office.
they'll clean that
Oh,
up.
well, I'm all in favor of that, Joyce.
There's only page on it.
Joyce, no, we were talking about putting a lot electronically. Couldn't we make some progress to free up some space that way and put the stuff into storage?
The law still requires that our files be kept on paper.
Yes, but they do not have to be kept in our office.
page one.
They could be put in storage, right?
It has to be accessible.
It
It
doesn't
has to
have
be
to be-
stored in the
They have to
building.
be
It can't go to
accessible.
like an
Right, well,
outside
that's
storage. I
part
don't
of the thing that we're going to try and do going forward if we have the help. That was one of the things with Dari, increasing his hours, that we could start doing that. Especially, we're going to start with the assessing files, but our legal files, that's all confidential information that needs to be kept and locked. Those should be kept at least 10 years. At least 10 years, and I've only been here since 2007, so. So what I would like to do is, I think that to purchase a fireproof file cabinet, which would be about $1,200, and then you'd have to have the lock installed. I think that's a higher priority than an envelope folding machine.
All that legal stuff needs to be locked up.
And the personnel files.
Yeah,
Personnel
yeah.
files, you
Yeah,
need to keep
Yeah,
at least 30 years.
they have to be secure.
No, I have not. I have not. I just wanted to get
That's a
a rough
huge
idea.
place.
I don't think we need a letter folding machine.
I'm iffy.
The janitorial contract, was that for more than 1 year? a contract we have with them?
I don't believe so. They just charge us for the actual days that they,
But have
They
they been
work.
contacted to see if they're going to hold their price for the 2015 season, or if they're going to go up?
Catherine, did you call them to find out if they were going to hold their price for the next year? GNC?
I think we should find out to make certain.
And that's line 535, outside contracts?
No, that's under janitorial?
Town hall janitorial.
I'm still not seeing it. Where are you? Oh, you're way down there now. Jumping around,
Our
Catherine.
admin budget
Well,
is pretty
FICA,
simple.
Medicare, life disability, retirement, health insurance, dental, there's not much we can do. Supervisor
Admin
check
vehicle, admin vehicle.
Maintenance, $500.
And for gas.
So why is
Town
that
car.
down to 500 when we clearly have used more than that every year?
Do we anticipate a drop?
Well, it could be at the time that this department request was made, which was back in October. Tim updates these expenses, actual expenses, each time he prints a new report. So perhaps some bills had come in.
And that's betting that we're going to have problems with the car. We've got a fairly decent car at this
We
point,
do, and it's well-maintained.
as opposed to the other car.
But the car's even older now, it's another year older.
Yeah, but it's in better shape. I perceive it to be in better shape.
On the reappraisal of property,
that's
we just
frightening.
plugged in the contract assessing data verification from the prior year amount, but you'll have a decision later as to...
It may go up or down
may go up or
accordingly.
down.
What is the
Well, it will
contract
definitely go
price?
down on either one. One was for like 24,000, the other was 18-something.
So this comes from
So it'd be
the
down.
contract?
Yes, but that number that you're looking at when under department request was based on the old contract. You've got the two
Okay.
new ones. Janitorial, we'll check on the price.
Our legal expense line needs to increase.
If you only take this year, it needs to be significant, but I don't think it needs to be significant.
No, I don't either, but I think it needs to increase.
Where are you? Oh, I see it.
General
Okay.
legal expense.
One of the reasons I held it down was because right now, it's pending in Superior Court, we only have 2 claims. The 822 was settled, the MC&G is going before BTLA, which uses Lauren, and Embry uses Lauren. So the 2 current ones we have that will continue to generate expenses will be,
Significantly.
Exit 20?
One of them's going to be significant
Right.
because that's the modus
Exactly.
operandi of the
Yep.
opposing attorney.
That's why we're up
I
to
would go
54
at
grand.
least, I would go at least 45 or 50.
I would say
Because look-
50.
Look at what you've got here. You've got 41 and then 54. I would really go with that.
50.
I'm thinking...
What percentage
Well, I
of that
think-
54 was a result of the,
that one, I would say,
It's, we
lot of
still,
it.
we
At
have it
least
still
half.
continuing.
More
yeah,
than
no, I understand that, but I just wondered if it was
Sorry.
half, or, I just wondered what the percentage of that was, because we have lawyers for everything, much to my chagrin. I understand it, but I hate it.
I
A
think we
good
need-
portion of it was that. Very good, because that, in excess of, it was in excess of 26,000 that we had already paid, right? So it's got to be up in the 30s now.
I was thinking more like
It was close-
40-ish.
It was approaching 38.
Right. So that's
They have
significant
until
amount.
April 1st to
It is,
file
it is.
abatements, right?
March.
March 1st.
So 50?
So we don't know what'll come in between now and March 1st.
John is recommending
I said
50.
50.
You're,
I
Well,
say
that would-
50.
yeah.
I'm
but
thinking
that-
50.
50.
I don't think we'll get that much, because we just haven't had a lot of people calling.
and
You never know.
I'm thinking what to go, the board is, consensus is 50.
We have to budget realistically.
You okay with that,
I mean, the
Kathy?
number
I am, yeah.
is a separate issue, but
I'd rather
if
be safe than sorry.
we're going to spend 50, we have to budget 50. Either that or we roll over
Or
and
we're
it
going
costs
to be
us
going
even
over,
more.
right, exactly.
What is the plans for maintenance and repairs in town hall?
Okay.
We always have a plan.
Thank you, Joyce. Does number include your
I hope you don't
carpet,
have
Joyce?
carpet on there.
I do. I do.
Does this include your carpet, Joyce?
Get another 10 years out of that rag.
Joyce?
You are funny.
It's horrible.
We do whatever we can do.
Yeah, well, you're avoiding my question. Does this include your carpet? Hello, Joyce.
Well, the carpet's at least 20,000. Why don't you go to
Oh, my
page...
goodness.
On the first page, the far column to the right is 25,000. That's what I budgeted. Okay. Just for regular maintenance items, we need 4,500. That's your electrical repairs, your alarms, plumbing
Elevator
repairs,
inspection.
pest control,
Flags.
And
plumber.
where, are these the actual expenses that, in
On-
2014?
Yes, that's year-to-date, but as you can see...
So what are the-
6,100 is for the senior center.
4,500, where are those expenses? They're
That
not
would-
listed here?
No, because they're air conditioning,
That's-
boiler maintenance, our elevator repair, any electrical repairs that we need, our alarms, the flowers,
Duct cleaning.
boiler and elevator inspections,
Okay.
light bulbs, miscellaneous supplies.
Repairs, plumbing repairs.
We always have to have a
So
plumber.
is that the amount that we kind of plug in there?
Yes.
Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
For those things.
That's our baseline.
Our pest, yes, our pest control.
And then for additional repairs and things,
Yeah, then you want to go to the third page.
No.
Go to the bottom, because I kind of keep track of,
proposed 2015.
Yes.
Ouch.
Oh, it is on there.
so these are your projects, because we find that with some things, usually by the third year that we've asked for them, we might be able to, it moves up to the top of the list. But I left in there the town clerk tax collector window. The upstairs meeting room, we had withdrawn the warrant article, but that's something we would still consider.
Refinished front doors, that's...
The repairing the school street sidewalk is still there, as something needs to be done.
You left that window in there?
Well, repairing the school street sidewalk should be coming out of Public Works.
Yes.
Right, so I would need the selectmen to make that a priority.
To refinish the front doors, it's gonna, that's lowballing it.
Go get my,
You have an estimate?
yeah.
Where did you get the estimate from?
It was back, it's what we paid back when Tom did it. We can increase that.
If you have, that's a good idea. If you can get their woodworking group to do it, and do it right, with the understanding that it's critical that it's sun-driven on that side.
It's time sensitive.
It'll be exposed to sun, and it's time-sensitive. That would be a good option to see if the prison can do it. And we could do one, bring it down, do the other, and then close it, and have
Yeah,
just
do
one
one
door.
set.
One set at a time,
Yeah, and our highway guys can take them off and
and bring them down, correct?
How do we secure the opening?
with plywood.
With plywood.
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 Seems like anybody with a screw gun could overcome our security somehow.
Unfortunately, kind of,
we did.
that's the way, locks are just for honest people.
If they wanted in, they'd get in now.
Now, do we want carpet for downstairs?
I've talked to some of the town employees, and they're happy with tile, not the new stuff like the police got,
Right.
but the fire-resistant vinyl, that VCT, like we had the estimate before.
Like peel and stick.
So we're going to let these employees breathe in the off-gassing.
Outstanding.
But the only problem with the
Buy 'em a new
VCT
fan.
tile is that transitioning from that nice tile in the entryway to the VCT tile. And we would still need to have runners.
the wet season.
But, either way, either the tile's definitely cheaper.
Are there any holes in our carpet, or is it just dirty?
It's frayed. It's frayed and it's dirty.
Not to be afraid of, Joyce.
What about
It's
wood or
smeared.
laminate or something? Wood.
Bamboo,
Virgo.
something like that.
There's a high maintenance on that wood.
Runners? What's underneath there?
Not positive. I've taken some air ducts out, but I have yet to rip back carpeting
I
anywhere.
mean, is there underneath?
There might be old-timey wood under there that just needs to be refinished.
I don't know.
Yeah, there could be like a luan
had
over it,
glue on
it.
plywood. It could have beautiful oak floors.
Like this.
Well, I know this, if you take
Yeah.
out the air ducts, you'll see that there's plywood sitting there. I couldn't tell what was sitting on it.
Then they probably put a little one down.
So if there's plywood on top of the old floor is full of nails, holes.
Yeah, probably.
Pull it, sand it.
Character.
Sand it, stain it.
Just adds character.
Well, we can go into the,
Closet.
in the skinny closet. We can pull up some there. We can also go into the copy room and in the back corner. Do you want to do that?
Whatever we do is going to cost money.
Well, you have new carpeting for town hall, 20,000. Whether that got used for refinishing a floor, I would think would be right around the same.
No.
Yeah.
It might be depending on the floor and
You
the
have to
nail
rip up-
hole repairs, and you don't know what's under there, man.
You know, if there were cut holes or moved walls.
I bet it'd be cheaper to refinish the
So
floor.
you've got
Oh, it would be cheaper, but-
25,000 in
Probably.
there.
Maybe.
4,500 needs
How much
to
does front doors
stay.
cost?
Big difference, though.
There's just 2 doors. We're talking about the entire floor downstairs.
A lot easier to do that.
So you've got 20,500 left over.
Well, the window tinting, we're going to do out of this year's budget.
If you get an agreement. We don't have any kind of, we don't have any contract with anybody to do it yet.
No, I was going to, well, you
You
said,
sent her
the vote was to go ahead and use Anderson Solar Films as the low
But they
bid.
have not technically been hired. There's no
No. Oh, no,
obligation to pay.
Right.
So we'd have to get that done real
Yep.
quick.
And then
Nate's going up.
Brian's going to come do the heat next week on the 16th.
So that 5,000 to do those windows is just a dart figure? Or do we have, what is the?
No,
price?
that was the estimate that you
That was the
got
estimate
last
that-
year.
So that was the estimate we had.
What's that for?
To enclose the town clerk tax collector, you know how her counters only goes up
What good does that
halfway?
do us?
She's too hot.
What good does that do us? You leave the side door open. You walk right outside, put the door, hand in the door, and open the door, and in they go. I'm a little confused with this whole
The
situation.
problem is, though,
Fancy
they're
ceiling.
either too hot or too cold in there. If you enclose that, it's going to be worse.
Yeah, it would be an oven.
You've got 2 fans in there now, and it's, they're
And we're going to have the window tint.
right. So, I don't,
The whole safety aspect, to me, if you're gonna have safety, and that's what we're looking at, we don't guard the front, we leave the side open. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Side's not even supposed to be open anyways.
With the Dutch
Voted a
door?
long time ago,
No.
that door is supposed to be
leave it
shut,
open during the day.
both top and bottom, period. That was supposed to be done, it's supposed to be done, it's supposed to be done, always be done.
Right, but then the board voted to go ahead and open up the upper half.
Well, that doesn't make
but
any
it's,
sense.
when you go by there during the day, it's wide open.
The top,
It's not, no.
oh, the bottom half?
Sometimes,
It's
yeah.
open with the thing in it.
So what's,
Is that true?
Not all the time.
no, but sometimes it is, so what's, it-
Sometimes it is.
with that top part
I've
open,
gone by there. and
It's stupid.
You just reach in and open the door.
Taking the security right out of the whole place. If they're worried about money or this or that, then shut the damn door, put the thing up front, and be done with it.
Maybe I'm being naive, but I don't see a need for a cage and a barred door and close the top of the door. I mean, maybe, like I say, I'm naive, but
I don't either.
I'm an old-timey Tilton
I
boy.
think that if we listed it, I
They
mean,
said in
it's,
Colebrook.
it's okay to keep it on the list,
Could happen anywhere, and I'm not going to live in fear.
but I think that we need to prioritize, and I think there's
I go
much
to
more
the bank and I
important,
don't have them.
there's much more important things here that need to be done before that gets done.
If a guard.
In my opinion, anyway.
They do.
Only got 2 more years, I'll be gone, you can get the next guy to vote for
Well,
it.
what
but
I would
can't
like to
it.
do is refinish the front doors, repair the seams on the roof.
Can we talk about repair the seams on the roof? I thought we took care of the leak, so why are we repairing seams on the roof?
To extend the life of it.
Preventive.
Prevent leaks.
Need it.
I've been up there, and it's in need of something.
They're
They
moving
they
that.
wash it,
Retar
and
it,
then
or-
they retar all the seams.
It's a tarred roof?
No.
It's a
Rubber membrane.
membrane,
Membrane.
but it's
So
been
is
sitting
that
up
the
there for
only
years.
maintenance
That's
to
an
this
estimate.
membrane?
No, they're resealing the seams on the membrane for $6,500. I've installed rubber membrane roofs to reseam a membrane roof, $6,500 is a lot.
That was the
I've done
low
it.
bid, buddy.
That's a-
I've done it in Boston and many times, and
Well, that's the estimate I had received from one of the companies that had gone and made the repair. They said it would extend the life of the roof, and these are contractors that do nothing but, like
It's the same
Walmart,
guy that's been
Yeah.
doing our roof repairs to begin with, isn't it?
Laconia High School.
No?
They do, that's all they do are commercial rubber membrane
well, I
membrane
can tell you
roofs.
for the materials and the procedures for doing that, it's, you,
Well, we would put it out for bid. I just
Okay,
have that
So
one
let's
estimate.
stick to the budget. We keep getting off in these side tangents that
Well,
really
I
don't
think the
strictly
numbers-
pertain to the budget. So my question, what I'm trying to find out when I ask the question about repair seams on the roof, we talking just where they join or the entire outside perimeter, every place there's a,
They thoroughly inspect the roof. They repair, they wash it, and they repair the seam. They put another coating over the seams, and if there's any
what
other
about the
areas.
perimeter?
There is no seams. It folds over.
Yeah.
They cap it off.
But they would check it to see if there are any
Flashing.
rips or
Right,
anything.
which there isn't really.
But it extends the life of our roof.
Refinish the front doors. What was the other?
Pave that portion of the basement floor. I just put the 500 in there, because I don't know how much the cost of the product is, how much the product costs.
Which portion?
Albert and I were gonna do that.
Which portion?
Down as you go down the stairs and you take a right where it's all eaten out and holes and stuff, you just put some self-leveling cement in it and
That would be great.
color good.
Yeah, because you're always watching your step and tripping, and
Even how many years?
We'll get her done.
Yeah, we do need to get her
And
done.
then I
One
would like
person
to, if
trips
the
and
board
falls
could
and
agree
you
on what they
spend
want for
much
floor
more than
covering,
that,
I'll be more than
and we're gonna
happy
have to do it
to
anyway.
put out another request for bid. The School Street sidewalk, I would love to get done, and if we could do that out of Dennis's, that would be wonderful.
All sidewalk work should be done out
Yeah,
of,
it should be Dennis.
The
It
reserve
just
fund.
was, the issue was, at least on the School Street side, was hiring an outside contractor or having the highway department do it.
Highway.
Well, we bought the equipment to do it with.
For sidewalks?
Yeah, we
get the
roll,
roller and the
bring in the pavement, spread it, roll it, and be done with it.
we just need to tell the public works director to take care of
Move it to the top of the list.
We haven't done sidewalks for a number of years.
That's right.
I've never seen it done.
The other thing we could do, if there's sufficient money in this year's budget, because we haven't spent all of our, we've only spent $11,476, and we only have a few more weeks to go, if I could purchase the file cabinet out of the 2014 money.
We tried, that place in Manchester, remember we bought all that stuff
Yep.
before? Is that what you call it?
No, I just looked online, I
Is
said,
it the surplus?
1-hour
Oh, yeah.
fireproof file cabinets with the
It's not-
dimensions that match this one, and it came up about $1,200.
Because remember, we got the ones down the other, in the filing room for like six.
I don't think
$600
there's
bucks.
enough money in there to do everything that you just
Oh, I know, I mean, just,
Cheap money.
labeled off.
so that's 25, 31, oh, at least $30,000. And that's not counting the 4,500 just to keep the lights on, light bulbs and things.
I think we had Carlson come and rekey one of them. For sure we did.
Well, and as Pat said, you probably should have
We did
another
on one
1,000
in
to
the
doing those
assessing.
doors.
Yeah, I think that's a number one priority.
14, I have $34,400.
How much is left in the budget on this one, this year?
We're probably going to spend about 13,000.
Out of the 25,000?
So about 12,000.
So are there any of
Oh.
these things that we can get done this year?
Well, I'm doing the furnace and the window tinting
This year?
this year.
So the
And if I,
TCTC window?
And if I got the file cabinet, because I could order that, that would free up another 1,200.
This is so noisy.
We should do a road trip.
See,
Oh, is that how you do it?
Right, but we're not going to move a fireproof file cabinet. Those things are
They will
heavy.
deliver it.
They'll deliver it.
That's what they did before, they delivered all that stuff.
How much do they get for them? About 500?
They're cheap.
Yeah.
34.
They're secondhand, but they're cheap, you just gotta give them rekeyed.
34.4, but
Yeah, but-
she's doing the TCTC window.
I didn't include that.
Okay,
I've got the $4,500 for just keeping us going,
yeah.
20,000 for the carpeting, if that's what people were talking about,
20,000?
$500 for the basement, $6,400 for the roof, and I put 3,000 for the doors.
Okay, and that's 34.
That's 34.
All right.
You realize if
You
we're
have-
going to budget this, we have to do this stuff because we haven't been doing it in the years past.
You have the, can we do this self-leveling this in December?
We can buy the stuff and just do it. Don't have to be done in December,
I
we
can go
just
pick
buy
up the
it.
stuff to do it.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we could do that out of 2014 monies. Can we do,
And we, so if we could use any, oh, you didn't include the sidewalk in that money, did you?
no,
No, the sidewalk needs to come out of the reserve fund.
Yeah, it's just, it's so dangerous. It's such a busy sidewalk.
Both sides of the street are pretty hideous.
it's too late to go out to bid for the roof.
For this year, yeah.
I'm really thinking we could get to 33 on all that stuff, considering we're going to do the floor ourselves. And I really strongly feel the repair of the seams on the roof is pretty high, which would give
Well, we're
us
going to go out to
extra-
bid on that anyway.
which would give us extra money if we need to use it on the front doors.
I think the idea of going to the woodworking at the prison is an excellent idea to see what they can do. It's refinishing, and it's not building the door, but it's refinishing, and I think that knowing if you let them know that it's exposed to the sun most of the day, that there's a,
But we'd have to tell them
Put the
what
good stuff on
product.
Oh, you got
to use, though.
Lapelli's up off of, yeah, the hill,
American woodworkers.
Lapelli's.
Isn't it like Mr. Dippet or something?
Yeah, Mr.
I took some
Mr.
stuff.
Stripper.
Mr. Stripper.
Oh, up on Zion Hill.
Zion, yeah.
Yep. He's very good.
I know,
I have a question.
I knew John.
In 2010, we paid $1,100 to have those doors refinished, right? Can we expect that kind of a price every 4 years? And if so, can we buy doors that are not going to need that kind of maintenance?
You want to replace those mahogany doors?
Well, how much have they cost us so far?
Well,
Gee whiz, they're nice, they're mahogany, and if they're going to cost us $250 a year in
They
maintenance
weren't
or
properly
better,
sealed when they were done then. They didn't use a product that,
2010,
yeah, they didn't use a product. that-
$1,100, they didn't even use the right product?
Not in our opinion. Not in Pat's opinion, and
I
she's
can
an
tell you,
expert.
those doors, the strength of them and the craftsmanship in them,
Right.
We couldn't
You look
match
at-
that, something
look
that would
at
last as long as.
The
long as we
Boston
finish.
Public Library, and look at the Harvard and all those doors that have been there for hundreds of years, and they withstand the worst of weather because they're sealed properly. And I personally don't believe that they were sealed properly
Okay,
from the
well, then
beginning.
let's get it done properly so we don't have to keep doing it over and over
I
again.
think we should paint them.
Blue,
What do you,
the town color, right?
Didn't think of that.
One blue, one white.
It's,
Tilton,
That's
let's go.
worse than
yellow and black.
painting mahogany. It's just wrong.
mahogany
It only
never
costs
rots.
$20 to slap another coat of blue on it every year.
I don't think it's.
So how
that
much
bad
do you
of-
want to put in that
I think
line
it's a good idea myself.
for maintenance and repairs?
I
33,000.
hear 3
I'm
votes.
thinking 33.
Oh,
33?
We'll go with 33.
1,000?
Yep.
That includes the.
Okay, well, I insist that we spend it this time. No, look at years past.
I know.
25 grand, 25 grand, 25 grand, we never approach it. Becomes a slush fund at the end of the year. And maybe slush fund is the wrong word, but if we're not going to spend it, I don't want to appropriate it.
These things that are on here are really must-do.
And in years
They are.
past, it was the same way, John.
So is it 33,000?
Okay, as long as we spend it. We're going to have this conversation again next year.
Yep.
I know the work needs to be done, so we should do it.
So do you remember the name of the company you and Tom went to? It was like Discount Office Furniture?
How come we don't have any building general,
Do you know what street it's on?
general building expense? We put that in maintenance and repairs? Is that what we've done?
General building expense, we eliminated it.
We put it in maintenance and repairs?
No, we moved 1,000 into senior center
I'll
fund
find out
for
where it
senior
is.
building issues. That line item was there before for 61 Business Park Drive.
Okay, so then we were using it for the Grange building, and now we don't need it.
Right.
Okay. Our supplies, can't do anything, can't do anything. Those, the rest of them are what they are, okay?
And I don't know why Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid is stuck on the bottom there, because that's a public safety. But that is the adopted budget, 33,749. The other good thing is that Tim and I will be able to recalculate all of the line items for short-term disability now that we're going with the new insurance. So there'll be some savings there.
So now we go to page 4. I have to find it first, hold on a minute. I don't have page 4.
Is it surplus office equipment on Granite Street?
You kidding me?
Oh, wait a minute, was that page, was that page 4?
One.
What are we doing on page 4?
No, page 3 is the bottom line.
Oh, so now we're going to page 5, no, that's page 5 is,
That's all
Town
for
clerk.
admin.
right? That's it for admin, right?
Yep.
So then we've done the PD, we've done,
I have a suggestion for PD that would change it.
all right, let's get that PD back.
Back to
What
the
about
admin.
All right, wait a minute, hold on.
Go on admin, too.
Let's stay on admin if we still got a question.
On the 330, was that over before and being reduced because of the cards
Where
last
are
year?
you?
On admin printing.
Printing. Admin printing is,
Is
that's,
that where the cards came out from last year?
no, that's for
No,
the
that's the
town report.
town report.
Yeah, but the cards for that.
What cards?
The card stock?
The card stock, you mean?
No, for people helping out,
No.
did that come out of there?
No, that's miscellaneous expense. Oh, the cards.
Oh, yes.
No, that came out of wages. had to go through
Wages.
Eating
Right.
cards.
That's not.
Right, it did not affect that at all, no.
Okay.
Remember, we
Bonus,
did
the recycle cards?
we did a, was it a Visa?
Yes. Gift cards.
because they had spent
Oh, gift cards.
years,
Yeah, I didn't know if that...
they did 2 or 3 years and saved us thousands of dollars
Yep.
on this, having it in-house.
We figure out...
I know where you can buy
why it's
discount ones.
Drop by 1,000?
Like an elephant.
Just
Because I
Right.
Buy
think
supplies ahead of time.
2012, Tim bought a lot of supplies.
So we think...
One year he bought a lot of supplies, and I think that's what that was.
But I'll check the expense for
binders,
2012 to see
just
what that
tons of stuff.
1,500 was.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's what you'll find, is he bought a
I
bunch
mean,
of
I
supplies.
like the new
Granite Street.
number, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so just
Yeah.
to recap, the line items then will be on, so administrative equipment purchases. Can I go ahead and buy a file cabinet out of this year's money, and we zero that out, that 3,700 out for the folder, and try again next year for the folding machine?
I'd like that.
Say that one more
You're not
time.
going to zero the line out,
Oh,
are
no.
you?
Well,
But-
no, leave
What
100.
what are you going to do?
If I purchase the file cabinet out of this year's
Monies.
monies, and then we zero out the
Make it
folding,
100.
the folding machine for next year
And that's under equipment
purchases.
purchases.
And then just leave 100 to keep the line open.
So $3,700 is the folding machine?
Yes. that's what
And
folding-
the file cabinet.
Well, if I was going to substitute the file cabinet
For the whole folding
for the
machine.
folding machine.
Well, we need the file cabinet
Who's
anyway.
requesting the folding machine?
Cindy?
Is that in our budget?
No, because it would come out of admin because everybody would use it who needs to
Her budget
fold.
is our budget.
Well, I know that, I
But it's
understand.
listed on, it wasn't listed in...
I like things
It's a
in
piece
the
of
proper
equipment
department.
for the town
Everyone
hall.
would use, it
Right.
wouldn't be indigenous just to that department.
I think I would rather see a file cabinet, those legal files being under Joyce's desk is probably not good policy. The personnel files not being
Personnel files.
secure is not good policy. And as far as the folding machine goes, I'm less than ambivalent
I'm for changing the 375 to 100.
to 100
So am
and
I.
getting the file cabinet.
So I make a motion that we purchase the file cabinet for
Not to exceed.
not to exceed $1,200.
Fire rated.
You're going, fire rated, but you're going to go to the used equipment
Yep.
first.
Yep.
Because you may be able to get 2 for that price,
Second.
out of the 2014 monies. All
Second.
those, second by Joe. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
All right,
And then we're going to reduce that line, 2015 line item to 100.
Please.
Okay, and then just so you, when you talk about the assessing contract, we know that that is going to go down. We're going to increase legal expense up to 50.
The assessing contract right now is,
38,568
which,
on this.
which is what the
Old one
old
was.
one
But
was,
the new one, I think, is 20.
depending on how we,
I think it went down to 18.
depending on how we go with prospective personnel changes.
If you go
Okay.
with the personnel change, it's 18.
It's 18, otherwise it's 23.
23 something.
So either way,
Right.
we're
Either way,
saving
you're-
significant monies.
For 1 year.
Or you're
yeah.
just going to move it from there to someplace else.
Well,
You're going to have to pay for the full-time.
There will be that, yeah.
Right. But that'll help with the, little bit towards the property, the legal expense.
Okay.
I'm going to check on the price for the janitorial, maintenance and repairs, $33,000. And the other number I want to check on with Tim is that, our property liability insurance number.
Now, you're checking on these numbers. We need to have these numbers really soon.
I'll have them tomorrow.
Okay, and then email them to all of us.
So we're going to have to vote again, meet again to vote on the budget.
I was just going to ask that. Do we need to vote before Wednesday night?
We've got to get it to the budget committee, so we have to vote.
Okay.
So you give them a draft.
Even if we come in at 5:30 and have a vote on that one issue, so that we can get it to the budget meeting that night.
Wednesday.
You're available for that vote, right, John? You'd be available at
Yeah.
5:30 or whatever, yeah.
So on the 17th,
Now, in non-public, were you going to talk about salaries? Because that may change the,
yes, we are talking, well, we're talking about personnel, so that's, and salaries are incorporated in personnel. Al, are you okay the 17th on at 5:30?
Sure.
It's the first day of Hanukkah.
Oh, I'll be busy.
I have an appointment in Concord
Bacon?
at 5.
Yeah, there you go.
On Tuesday? Or
It's Wednesday,
5 o'clock, 5:30?
Wednesday, yeah.
because it's, we're going to be here for the budget.
Gotcha.
So,
5:30?
So Wednesday at 5:30?
all right. And that's where we'll, all those questions, but email them to us first, and then, okay. So, back to PD. Catherine
Good.
has a suggestion.
So I've talked to a gazillion people about this. The two most important people is Tim and the chief. So my suggestion is that we eliminate the equipment line for the cruiser and use only the detail money, and we lease the cruiser.
What's the price difference?
None. The advantage to it is, when we purchase a cruiser in 1 year, and granted, it's, it's not like it's a $100,000 or $200,000 purchase, but your purchase is in 1 year, only those taxpayers of that year actually pay for the purchase. Anything you purchase in that 1 year, that's how it is. So if we purchase it through a lease system, and I believe Tim said the interest was like 3 or 4%,
Yeah.
then everyone in 2015, for the life of that lease, is contributing to that purchase.
True enough. Will the detail fund generate enough revenue to purchase the car?
There's enough money in the detail fund right now, according to Tim, that would pay for next year's lease payment.
And what is that anticipated to be? Maybe I'm stupid, but I still don't have a figure. 29 grand?
No, it's,
It can't cost 29 grand a year to lease a car.
No,
No, it's-
The cost to purchase a cruiser for us is around $50,000
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, I understand that.
And the lease, I didn't write it down, I believe is around, I'm going to say 12,000.
Okay, so
It's
the 29,000 would turn to 12,000 in actual monies, because that's just the cost of the car, 29 grand.
but it's,
Well, that's anticipating using detail money to pay for part of that purchase as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm taking that for granted.
Yeah. So no, that isn't a whole car, that's just part of a car.
can we have, on Wednesday at 5:30, can we have Tim explain the lease to us? Because I think it'd be worthwhile to hear it. If we can get the numbers together, I think it would be worthwhile. I believe,
And can we computerize and paint and light and everything else this car from the detail
Turnkey.
fund?
Well,
it is a turnkey amount. It's the
12
amount.
grand, it's
Yes.
got painted and lights and computers and
Oh,
everything.
No.
No,
It's
that's right.
per year, and
Per
it's
car.
a,
Oh,
it's a
okay.
2-year, is it a 2 or 3-year
I
lease?
thought he said it was 3.
3-year lease.
For the car. Okay, the equipment on the car,
But that's total inclusive of everything.
Yes.
The radio, everything, the lights,
Everything.
everything that's included in it.
for 12 grand.
I think it's 15.
I couldn't remember. I just.
We gotta get
That's
the
with our
numbers.
computer and light system now.
Yes, I asked him if that.
All right, I want to get this out of his mouth, but
Striping and the special
Right.
mirrors
That's
on
what
the
he said.
side.
You know, I can why don't I text the chief and tell him,
he's
need
coming.
Tim.
He's
he's
coming.
coming, but tell him to
No.
Have that
We need Tim for
information.
the discussion, not the chief, because we want the particulars of the.
Well,
And have the
both,
chief, see if the chief can be here 5:30.
both. I want to ask them both the same questions, see if they match up.
other-
Maybe Tim could prepare something on paper.
tell him
Yeah,
to
that
bring
would be
the
good.
lease.
If this is the way we're going to
Figures.
go, then, and it's a 3-year lease, then at year 3, we'll have 3 cars on lease every year, which
But
would come
you-
out to be
Potentially, yeah.
45,000, which is around what the detail
What the
fund
de-
is.
Right.
So we need to make sure that we're not dipping into the detail fund for other things,
For
so
other
we can keep
things.
it going, because we're going to have year two, at
Yeah.
least 30,000.
What are we using the detail fund for now specifically?
Any equipment that's necessary when there's money in it.
I think once we went
Could be
through the,
tasers,
Yep.
vests,
Yep.
safety.
Well, we'd have to budget for those
there's certain
items.
things we can use from the detail fund. They're very specific about what we can take out of there,
Equipment.
and it's
It isn't that detailed, it's
equip-
equipment.
It's equipment for the
PD.
P,
It's equipment.
Well, you know it's
Under
equipment, but
detail.
there's some things you can and some things you can't, I think.
that's right. There is,
I don't
Joe.
have it in front of me.
I don't know if you can buy guns
That
or
Wednesday.
whatever, you know? There's some exclusions, I think.
No, it says equipment purchases.
The excess funds, we purchase equipment. The fund is supposed to be paying the salaries and the benefits and
There's
everything.
no excess, though, because it's a revolving fund, so.
Right, but I mean, once you pay your officers and pay for the vehicle
Oh.
and gas, that's the excess that can be used for
Then that-
purchasing equipment.
Yeah. We'll get those figures, because if we can do it that way, I just as soon, because at the end of 3 years, the cars are basically second line and beat up, and we get another one.
And
Let's
we
get them out.
we purchased that for $1.
Then you're not raising appropriating any tax dollars to purchasing those cruisers.
I'm all about
On
that.
top of that, I think that's the first time I've heard you say lease something instead of purchase it.
Well, I was never a lease person, because when they first came out with leases, I personally didn't think they were a great thing.
Well, they're not necessarily.
Well, and now.
It could be, in this case, it
this
certainly
case-
could be.
Could we incorporate this into like a 5-year plan, have Tim show what the numbers would look like after
Well, we can do it
5
1 year and then decide what we do
You
next
have to
year.
remember, you never know what money is just going to go into that detail fund.
No.
So you
We know
could
there
look
will
at
be
the
some,
the
but
lease of cars, but you wouldn't have the income. We'd only have the expense side.
I'd like to see what it would cost if we went from here on out at leasing, and at what rate they're going to replace the cars, 1 per year, 1.5 per year, meaning every second year, something like that, so we get a plan going forward, how many cars we're going to be getting per year, how much this will cost per year.
I'd like to see a plan for the whole PD purchases.
Considering the shape of the cars at the end of the 3-year period, 4-year period, they're not worth very much. We have lots of those things over there that just sit, I think,
Okay.
become town cars.
Did you look at land use yet?
So PD, that's the only question that we have there, and we'll get that answer. I've texted Tim to see if he's available even by
I don't
speaker,
think so. He's
even by speaker, maybe.
pretty well got his head stuck in that
Yep.
server.
I was in that basement, in the service line right there.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And then, okay, so highway, we're pretty set with the
Land use is straight budgeted all the way across, except for the wages, which
Was
we
the-
can't control.
On highway,
The only thing about land use is the land use assistant, if we are going to make that full-time.
I'm still in police
The
here.
question is that salary that's listed there, does that reflect full-time?
No.
I don't have land use. You know what, I didn't do the even pages.
Are you kidding me?
No, that's what happened. Because what page is that on?
I don't think I have a number. I don't have a number.
It's way at the
I have a couple of questions.
No, it's the current salary times 32 hours a week.
See, I don't have
So
that.
so that would have to, we'd have to look at that at
8 and
40
10.
hours a week.
They should have
Sorry about that.
put it out, I don't understand. I'm going to bring you home.
Now, when
hours a week are we in land use now?
when were you,
30.
did you do
Two
Health
is- anything
and
more than
Human
32 is
Services?
full-time.
Did you
No,
do
we
health
didn't
or-
do that yet.
I'm
We'll
not
do that
done with
now.
police.
Hey, excuse me, Joe not down with police.
I'm not done with police.
Oh, well, we,
We
I
did
keep
police.
saying, but I wasn't here the night we went over it line by line. You said, okay, equipment purchases, but I have a couple of questions, and according to the figures that I have here, my questions go unanswered.
okay.
Okay, so let me see if I can now, because I had it in my merit raise. Nowhere is it listed how much we've actually spent on merit raises, and yet the merit raise line goes up. Is that because we exceeded the merit raise line?
That's because, well,
The contract is not.
That's not contract. Contract is a separate thing. This has got to be for the non-unionized employees.
This year, their wages went up based on the merit that they got, so you're basing it on a higher wage based on this year's wage, correct?
How much did we spend this year in merit raises in the police department? It doesn't say. I just want
Because
to
it's
know
been
that
moved over, that's why.
$3,300 is actually, a $700 increase is actually reflective of what we're going to spend. And why? I don't see it listed here.
We based the increases last year, the merit raise, on 2.5%. This year, we have an additional person that's non-union. We have a
Yeah, I know who it is.
administrative
How many non-union personnel do we have? 2? 3?
4.
4? Who are all these people? I know the dispatch slash...
Three.
There's only
We have
three.
3. We have the chief, we have Ryan, and we have Lisa,
Okay,
non-union.
that helps explain it. The postage, we didn't spend anywhere near $500. It still says $500. Do we really need to raise and appropriate that amount of money?
Depends on if people leave for other places, and
Postage.
so they can advertise and mail out.
But we haven't been spending that money. Again, I don't want to raise anything. $2 million is what they want for the police department, and I'm thinking that, I see a lot of stuff that's written in stone. I understand that. The biggest bulk of it is things like wages, replacing guns, stuff like that we have to do for the safety of the officers, for public safety. But I don't want to raise anything we don't need to raise, really. And if we haven't been spending the money that we've been raising, then we need to look at it, I think. I would like for everyone to at least consider that as we go forward and meet again next Wednesday.
I don't have an issue with going down on the printing, thank you.
We had a good conversation with him about that.
Yeah, we did.
And decided not to,
Right.
based on this conversation. I just can't remember.
The printing?
I just can't remember his particular conversation about printing as opposed to other people's.
Well, I remember Tim saying that a lot of that stuff can be, like the letterheads can be done in-house now.
But it isn't.
But it
So
isn't,
unless the
so that could go
selectmen
down.
make a mandate,
Heat.
What line item?
he's talking about postage and printing.
Yeah, well, there's lots of things. Heat, we haven't spent that kind of money, period, pretty much, and
Because
yet we're
December's not
asking for
over
the
with.
same thing.
December's not over with.
I understand that, but look at it, $5,900, no, that's electric, and electric's the same way, but that's closer. Heat, we haven't approached the budgeted amount in any year, and yet, we're still asking for $2,400. Do we really think the cost of heat's gonna go up that much? And if it is, okay, we have to budget for it, but if it's not, why are
Who
we?
knows? Who has a crystal ball to say if oil or gas is going to go up? Somebody said gas is going up.
Yeah.
All indications are that for 2015, it's going to stay down.
Well, unfortunately, gas went up this year by 40%,
There you go.
natural gas.
Natural gas, are we heating with natural gas?
Yes.
Yes.
This year, it's not good for gas customers, it's good for oil, but it's that seesaw.
Damn. Well, just think about it. I'll have a detailed list of what I would like to talk to about real quick on Wednesday, and I don't want to raise money we don't have to. I hate to sound like a broken record, but there it is.
And I know you weren't present when we did this.
No.
If you have the opportunity to talk with the chief as well, from now until Wednesday?
I will, and I will.
All right.
Now, if we went to the leasing, which number would be taken out.
Equipment purchases,
Equipment purchases.
29,000.
5 from the bottom line, 660.
29?
29,000.
And that's a good start. We zero that out, if we can.
He was talking about 2 cars, right?
Yeah, well,
We're just going into leasing one.
That 29,000 wouldn't pay for 2 cars.
Well, they were talking about getting one that was a station wagon model as well as,
Right, the new cruiser estimated at $26,000 for police interceptor
Still makes station
utility
wagons?
vehicle, and $18,000 to outfit it for a total of $44,000. 15 to come from the revolving fund, 18 of outfit equals 4.7 Havas screen, and install 3.0 light bar with controller, and the radio, and the computer, and the camera, and the cage. So 15 of it comes from revolving, and
It's one
18,
vehicle.
right, that's one vehicle.
I'd like to see the price on the standard vehicle, not the utility. I don't think they need the station
I don't
wagon.
think they need a station wagon, van, Explorer, Expedition, a police car.
It's a
I
standard
don't see the
cruiser.
need
They
for
do
a...
need something that carries things. They'll often,
They have the
when they
Expedition.
have to take evidence,
We
such
get-
as a kayak or a table saw, it doesn't fit in the trunk, especially with the
Doesn't fit in the
equipment.
Expedition?
Well, that's why we have an Expedition.
That's what I
So
thought, but
that's
why are we
they
buying
want-
another
I
one?
believe that's why they wanted the
This is
utility
replacing the
vehicle.
Expedition, isn't it?
Just
Isn't-
because they banged in the door doesn't mean we have to
No, I
replace
think that's
it.
why they wanted the utility vehicle. But you can have them give us a price for both.
I can't see a utility vehicle for daily patrol.
But if they want a tow vehicle / cargo van, let them buy it at impound and just use it for that purpose. They don't need a fully stocked police vehicle to haul table saws.
A trailer, Public Works.
I don't know how it works, but let's
I'll
ask
be
them,
talking to the chief.
let's ask them to give us a price for both. I can't believe we're doing this now at this late hour.
Believe it.
You know what?
The budget's due next Wednesday.
You know what? This is ahead of last year.
Well, quite
So you're doing
frankly,
really good.
we can give the budget committee a draft budget and say, this is as close as we've come, because our deadline for producing a budget is further along the road.
All right.
This happens to us every year.
Let's keep moving. Joe is going to talk with the chief.
I'll
to
talk
get
with
his
the chief
questions.
about my
He will also
concerns.
bring his questions here to us
I
on
will.
Wednesday. The chief will ask the chief to be here on 5:30 on Wednesday,
Perfect.
along with Tim to be here at 5:30 on Wednesday.
I have a question when we're looking at the legal expense line, looking at the PD budget. I have a question that I've been pondering for the past couple of weeks. but
We
We've been
upped
so
that.
late. I know we upped it for this year, and this doesn't really pertain to the budget, but since we're all sitting here looking at it, I'm going to say it anyway. Have we ever had a conversation with the chief? His budget is over by $23,000. Well, 23,370 for that detail line. What purchases, necessary purchases, was he not able to make out of his budget because we didn't put any monies in there to cover those unexpected legal expenses? So my question is, are there purchases that he would have made out of this year's budget that weren't made, that maybe we could make now out of the selectmen's budget?
The wages.
Notice I said necessary. Bullets,
Bullets,
you know.
gasoline for the
Handcuffs
cars,
that need to be replaced.
and I love the tasers.
Have you seen the movie?
I got tased today as a demonstration, John.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, you saw him?
It's on
Do it again?
Facebook. It's on Facebook. It's on
I missed it.
Facebook.
Can we do it again?
Right here.
I can show you the marks, buddy.
It's on the video.
They put it on their Facebook page?
Yeah, well, he asked me first, and I said, oh, by all means, and I shared it on mine, and it's got hundreds of views already.
I've seen policemen get tased, and they go through this gyration.
this?
Oh, no, I didn't do any of that.
I had to watch it twice to say,
Tilton School, I
oh,
think.
he got hit, they're putting him on the ground.
Oh, I was definitely
Back to the
scared.
budget,
All right,
please.
so
All right,
what's next? Tim's, right?
right. The legal budget, I thought PD legal budget,
was out.
we upped that 10,000.
We did.
Why is it still
I don't know.
10,000 here?
That's
So
a good
that should be
question. Why is it still
20,000?
10,000?
And do we anticipate spending that money? Wasn't,
What did we up it to?
No, you know what, I don't think we did up it, because the chief sat there and said that he didn't anticipate anything, although we couldn't have anticipated
No,
that.
we upped it.
It was a one in a
We
million
upped it.
shot.
33 grand.
We
What's
upped
it,
it.
does that encompass the contract and stuff like that, or how does that
No
work?
contract this
No
year.
contract.
No, last year.
Yeah, that included the
So-
contract
Yeah,
this year.
yeah, that's not
This last week?
anticipated.
No,
Well, because I know when you first discussed it with the chief, you said you weren't going to vote on anything because Joe wasn't here.
That was my
We
understanding.
no,
upped
we
it.
increased it.
And
We
that's
did-
what
we
we're
made
kind of
changes to it.
doing, is talking about it.
We have not voted on anything with the budget, accepting the budget.
You're right, we've just made changes.
Right. We accepted the Parks Commission budget, but we didn't vote, like today, we voted to do monies, but we didn't do anything else.
So you upped it to $20,000?
I'm
I
pretty sure.
believe, I'm pretty confident we did.
You can ask the chief.
I'm real iffy about that.
I'm not.
That 33 grand was not unanticipated. Not all of it, certainly. Should have been more than 10, but it wasn't.
All right, well, put that as a question.
Yeah.
Because in years past, we haven't been spending that kind of money, not out of police. That's another question.
System.
Come in, welcome.
Okay, so
We did highway.
list that as a question, okay?
Yes, indeed.
And then we'll get that answered.
I'm pretty sure we upped it. Oh,
Highway, we have to add the 5,000 for sidewalk.
Yes. Or find out from Mr. Allen if that's on his list of things to do this year.
Where is the?
It isn't.
It isn't, we know
He's
that.
only got 4,000 in there.
Where are we going? What page?
Can he take money
Catherine.
out of his
Page 13,
All right, so,
capital reserve for that?
halfway down
I think
the
it's only road.
sidewalk
Bridges?
construction, line 760.
so, line 760, we're going to raise that from 4,000 to 9,000,
I would.
with the sole purpose of having the sidewalks on the school street.
Will that do this part right outside the building and up to where the
Bridge.
school?
Up to
Is that
the,
both sides?
School owns those.
No, just this one.
Yeah, but what about the school doesn't own the one across the street, does it?
No, both sides up to the bridge.
That's what I'm asking.
Both sides of
Yeah,
the bridge.
okay, all right, good. Because they both need it bad, they're a safety hazard.
They are terrible.
Okay, next on the thing, health officer.
Damn her anyway.
Cut the budget, cut the salary by half.
God, get rid of
No,
her.
no, we need the health officer. No. What page is that on?
14.
14. She got way down at the bottom,
So,
huh?
but Catherine, what about mileage reimbursement for you, or using the car?
Well, I usually use my own truck, and it's by choice. I did an inspection Saturday. It wasn't even a mile from my home.
But when you take water samples down to
I
Concord?
use the town car.
I was going to say, the town car is available to you anytime
If I
you
go
want
to
it, right?
Concord, if I go out of town, I use the town car.
Okay.
But in town, you know, it's like I do the high school, and then I usually go to Franklin buy my grain.
But you've never expended $500 for miscellaneous expense.
Yes, I did in 2012.
All right.
Overspent your line cap.
You need boots like Joanna has,
Well, I
Johanna.
know I need,
You could
well,
get,
yeah, but.
that you
have to
could
knock
wear
on wood
just,
Because I haven't had too many of those galoshes problems. But I
Yeah,
had
well,
that
if you're
boots.
gonna
we
appropriate
have our highway
500,
guys
spend it.
have to have
Otherwise,
boots.
appropriate what you
Our police
need.
have to have boots.
There's no way of knowing for me what I might expense, because it only takes one failed septic system to generate a lot of tests, and those tests are expensive. The normal water test, the standard water test is about $30. If I have to go the next step, that test is $98. If I have to test for gas and oils, that's over $100 for one test. I never know. I have no way of predicting. So that's why I just put $500 in there and hope for the best.
Now,
All right.
do you keep plastic gloves in your latex gloves?
I have
A box of
vinyl gloves that I clean in a bleach solution all over the place.
We tried.
So we'll leave it,
Don't
okay.
need a thermometer for,
I have one.
She has a real peachy thermometer.
she
I
won't
have
spend
one
it.
for air and I have one for liquid.
All right.
Trust me, the school would like me to break my liquid one.
Director of Welfare? We're all set?
Yep.
Administrative expenses? We're all set?
Yeah.
Hang on a second.
What do those administrative expenses include?
Travel,
Her telephone.
conferences,
Telephone.
Oh, okay, so we've lumped all of that into one line instead
Yep.
of putting it into our other lines, okay.
Now,
like that.
I also have a question with, even though I see that line 920, which is general assistance, went down, the appropriation, yay, you know I love that. I also see that we haven't spent half the appropriated money in any year since 2012, certainly. Is there any reason that we think that the wheels are going to fall off of the townspeople where we're going to need to spend $45,000?
and
You never know.
talking with,
You know, you never know, it might be 100 grand, let's
it's
appropriate 100.
unpredictable, but
Come on, we gotta, based on past numbers, that's high.
but based on,
Based on the economy.
right, based on the past
Economy is
number,
getting better.
based on past numbers and the economy, when talking with Heather, Heather sees an incline in usage from our place up north there that's Lockmere, that it's going to come to a point where it's going to increase more and more and more, because the pattern is each year it increases more.
I see,
And
we went down
that's
9 grand,
unpredictable.
though,
What's,
this year over 2013. So even if it comes back up to 27, that's still a long ways from 45.
and then what happens if we get caught? I mean, you don't know what the
That
economy's going to be.
constitutes an emergency. I just hate to appropriate money we don't need to appropriate.
I think this one's a hard one to, if CAP doesn't get funded by the federal government again,
You know,
for their oil.
I've seen this, and I've questioned it every year for many, many years, and it never hits that. And yes, it's nice to have a buffer, but I think we got a pretty big buffer in there, we're almost.
It becomes file cabinets at the end of the year. No offense, Joyce.
I'd like to see it,
Taken.
I'd like to see it at 40 for
I
this.
don't think that that's unreasonable. I don't want to cut ourselves short, but the number, history shows that we don't come close to 45. We haven't come close to 40.
What does other people feel?
I would love to see it at 40.
I'm not an economist, I can't predict.
I can't either.
Well, my understanding of the economy, and I watch it pretty hard, the indicators are all pointing to a slow and steady recovery even more than
Well-
before, and gas is down and will be for the foreseeable future. Not forever, God knows.
All right, good.
Yes, but it's also based on what the federal and state government does. And with our new electorates down there, who knows what they're going to do? I mean, the last time we had this balance of power, let's say, they were cutting elderly funding, young children, and they came to us.
And that's reflected in our numbers.
I'd go with 40.
I don't think 40 is unreasonable.
I don't either.
That's 2,
Others?
Serious.
3.
You got it. I'm not going to go below the 45. I just
No.
think it's
I think
So-
40.
a hard one to cut.
Just because we haven't been spending it. We've been spending it, and we needed 50,
Census
I
is
vote for
40,
50.
although it's not a,
It hasn't been voted on.
you have 3, I mean, we can make a motion to put it to 40.
Well, if you'd like it in
We
the
haven't
form of
made
a
a motion
motion,
on
I'll
any
make a
of the other
motion that we
lines.
reduce line
We have-
On the
9.
bottom line.
Right.
What?
We vote on the bottom line of the budget. We haven't voted on each line as we went.
Yeah, but we've been raising and lowering lines, and she said something about a vote, if you'd prefer a vote.
No,
I'll
I
call it.
said, no, I just wanted it in the minutes that the consensus was
Right.
for 40 to...
40 on that line.
Right. but
Okay.
It's not 100%.
No.
All right, Green Committee.
We haven't had a meeting in a while and have not officially requested an appropriation. That money is the NRRA meeting, it's the recycling meeting down in Manchester that we've been attending. I think that the money that we've spent there, especially in those conferences, has lowered our taxes, at least lowered our MSW, because we're hoovering at approximately 50% reduction in our municipal solid waste. Good for the environment, good for that line. Yeah, as you'll notice from looking at Public Works, the line went down considerably. We've had trouble getting a quorum, everybody's out of town, sick. Marge is back in town now, and I know she wants to call a meeting, and that'll be the top of the agenda, to request the $1,000 so we can continue going to these conferences. I have a dream, me and Martin Luther King, about although my dream is about community composting, because approximately 65% of all MFW is wet garbage that can be composted. There's grants available, we have an agriculture center. Until we get further down the line, I can't really push it, but there's been interest at the agricultural center. And all I can say is, going forward, I would like to keep developing that as a potential thing for the town and the region. So,
All right, so we're going to keep this at 1,000?
for now, and I'll get the official
Everybody
minutes
okay
and the
with that?
budget request submitted as soon as is possible.
I'm trying to figure out why we went from 337 to 1,000 to 114.
Really between he and I. He has no choice.
114, and the things that I attended this year were more than 114, considerably more.
Then why aren't they under there?
That is unknown to me. They should have been taken from that line.
Didn't you just go to one?
Yeah, there was like 120 or something.
Okay, she hasn't sent me an invoice yet.
Okay, and then there's the one that I go to in Manchester, and Marge and I both went, and that was like 150 a pop. Actually,
but I
mine
don't-
was more expensive
I
than
don't
that.
think that was this year, I think that was last
No, I
year.
went this past summer. I go every year.
Maybe they just haven't billed us.
Okay.
Maybe, but
The park maintenance on the island is 2,000. We share the responsibility on that.
But they don't budget any money
But they pay their portion.
if we bill them.
Have we
Bill
billed
them?
them?
No, because all they're doing is, they share in the labor of the maintenance.
and when we repaired the bridge, we built them.
So why are
for
we
materials,
budgeting?
right?
For it. What does this cost?
We always have. Well, we have
Last year, it cost $1,300.
Yeah, $1,297
Yeah,
we
we have
spent,
the electric bill, for one thing.
and we don't send that to
They've
them?
had some maintenance things, I'll have to look and see.
We don't charge them for electric?
I can look real quick. No, we never have.
Isn't it a joint venture on that island?
Yes,
For us, but not them.
yes it is, we own it jointly.
I know, but they,
That doesn't
if
mean we
there's any
can expect them
repairs-
to pay their share.
Right, and if there's any major repairs, if they're part of the decision, they're happy to weigh in on what they're going to pay.
They weren't part of the decision for electricity over there over 20 years ago?
No, I don't think they ever have.
Maybe we should send a letter.
Do they support the Savina Hartwell?
Yes. Yes, they do. They also go over, and their guys go with our guys and do maintenance.
I do know that.
However, they pay.
All right. We need to figure that out.
Another
Can we
time.
get some answers on that? Okay, so for now, we'll keep it at 2. Hall Memorial Library. I make a motion, we accept a budget of $125,350.
Are we making a motion for that?
Because it's outside.
Oh, it's outside agency,
Right.
second.
Any discussion?
I think that the library is a feel-good thing. All the information, the books, the periodicals, and everything else is contained online.
No, it's not.
They are.
No, it's not.
They are.
No, they have a legal library there that has very, very, very old histories. It has a lot, they have a legal library there that is, it's not online, trust me.
$125,000 worth.
Nope, but there is a legal library there that's not online.
And I don't know, I've always had, I like libraries, I loved libraries as a kid, and I'm a library card holder at Hall Memorial Library, and I go in there and virtually everything that I didn't notice the old legal books.
Black,
But,
and you go to the back, it's to the left, it's a separate room.
well, I'll be looking for that next time I go, but $125,000, it just keeps going up, and I don't know if we get 125 grand. We dicker and play about the future of our children at the Pines, but the library just gets a rubber stamp, and I'm just, and I know they've got a huge endowment over there, it's my understanding. It's not like they've got zero in their bank account.
Do you
It is
still-
what it is.
Do you want Tim to explain you the lease? We all set?
I'm all set with the hall.
I just felt that it needed to be said.
From
have
the
the answer on
presentation
the
at the
island.
Budget Committee,
It's a lot of money for what we get from Hall Memorial Library. And I like the library, but it's a lot of money.
I think, I don't like spending money, but I've heard a lot of great reports and...
It's a great library, John, I agree.
Using it, and
It's a very nice
Have a
facility.
lot of new programs there that they've instituted.
in a time when you think that the people attending libraries would be going down, our library's actually been
Going up.
Adult?
Yep.
Adult
The
library.
adults.
Yes.
And they also have a lot of available CDs.
Even Rhoda goes there.
The CDs, electronic books and things like that.
Still $125,000. It's a lot of money, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
All right, I'm
Okay.
going to call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, did you have something to say?
You're in the middle of a vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Me,
Okay, motion passes.
So, 2 opposed? This is a library?
yep.
All right,
I have the answers to the island.
Old Home Day, oh, go ahead.
Yes, it's public service, which averages around $16 a month. We bought $600 worth of park benches, 3 used park benches from Korok, and we have 3 months' worth of toilet rental at $145 a pop.
which we pay for. And they pay nothing.
We pay nothing.
Going forward, when we
Those are our
get,
decisions, though.
well, can we
But
ask?
going into 2015, we need to send them a letter of the, in fact, we should send it out now, a letter of the itemized expected expenses, the porta potty.
And see if they're willing to chip in. If
was
they're
the other
not, we
one?
gotta have what we gotta have, but
Park benches?
The park benches, we
Electric-
decided to buy.
We bought those.
We own those are our
just like
benches.
the
it's electric
flagpole,
and
we
porta
replace
potty.
it.
Electric and
We
porta
replace
potty.
it.
Although we should not send them a bill for
December.
December lights, because they
No.
chose not to,
No.
and we did. So just ask Tim to leave the bill that he gets in January out of it.
But going forward, we should mention to them, this is what the costs are, and would you please consider?
But we should send it to him now, because they're budgeting.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay,
If they don't, we
Even if it's in an
pay.
email.
Old Home Day,
We'll see.
they want to go up to 3,000 instead of 2,500.
Reason?
Budget Committee did, fireworks are more expensive. Budget Committee voted 3,000.
As a member of the Old Home Day
Just as
Committee,
information.
I know that the only monies left over in the fund is just enough money to purchase the food supplies, going forward for next year. Hot dogs, soda, hamburger, water, ice, the gas for the grills, and stuff like that. So there's no real slush in that one.
Joe, if there's money going forward to next year, and we're budgeting money for this year,
Yeah, but that money covers, goes over into next
The
year.
fireworks.
If we cut that back, well, there's the fireworks, certainly, but we cut that money back, and then there's no money to buy the hot dogs
but we're
and,
going to give $3,000 this year, so the check would go out.
Only when they request it.
and then at the end of next year, when all the bills are paid, anything left from the monies that Northfield and Tilton and whatever they can sell and what have you, becomes the money that they use to put on Old Home Day next year. We're paying for, you know what I mean?
They have startup money.
It's startup
I know
money.
they've started, so if it's 3,000 from Northfield and 3,000 from Tilton, the actual cost is going to be, if you had 25 left over, is going to be,
I can get you the exact figures, John, but in the past, we've had just enough to get us going again.
I make a motion, we accept the 3,000.
I'll call Peg Shepherd and get the exact figures to send you.
Second.
All right, Catherine, second that.
Yeah.
Call a question, all those in favor?
Nice.
aye.
Memorial Day, make a motion that we, that's ours, so.
That's a wreath.
200, that's our wreaths.
And what exactly does that go to?
The wreaths over here in the
Veterans
the
Day
veterans.
Did we not spend any money last year?
We just spent money on it, veterans, just, it's not in here yet.
I see, okay.
Veterans Day. All right, senior center, we're all set?
Do we anticipate spending $1,000 more on the senior center? Is there things coming up that you can identify?
This
or-
is for maintenance and
Yeah,
heat.
yeah. Well, we put like a new roof on the back there, and we've done various things. There's the door that
One second, this is
we're
Mango.
putting on and whatever.
Roof on the back doesn't come out of this, does it? That comes out of our building expense.
This
The
is
what?
me.
The what?
The roof and the door doesn't come out of this account.
I think the board had voted to take it out of the towns. Both of
Yeah.
them.
I
Not out of-
understand that, because it's our
Not out of
building.
the senior center money.
So exactly what does that $5,800
Runs the
entail?
program.
CAP runs the programs.
Thank you.
Well, then I don't know.
Thank you.
Well, then we'll
Good
go right
question.
back to the senior center.
I'm sorry, Great Northern, it's their second week, and they haven't figured out the,
So $5,800, exactly what would
I
that
don't,
money go to?
this is the heat,
Heat, telephone.
telephone,
Janitorial
the Mango
supply,
security,
Mango-
pest control,
Pest control.
maintenance that we had,
The
that
janitor, you guys are paying out of
we
your
pay the
money?
janitor
The janitor?
supplies. We pay the, over and above the heat and over above if it were.
Well, it just seems like it went up $1,000. Do we need an
Tim
extra
put these
1,000?
figures in, so I don't,
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Okay, something
So
that we
Well, we
might,
used to
Yeah,
have
we
the general
can-
building.
Whatever,
We
I
had
mean.
1,000 for
I
just
don't want
general
to cut them
maintenance.
short, you know, I love the senior center.
What, I think what he anticipated is last year, we had a lot of repairs to, like the roof and the gutter, remember, we put in the gutters,
That came out of town funds, I
they'd
think.
come out of
Building
town
and-
funds, and I think what the $1,000, I'm not sure,
So this line is,
is if nobody were in there,
so then why are we paying for heat?
well,
It's
Or
other people.
Well, Mango, I can
you'd
understand.
water.
And-
You were paying,
Yeah, water and sewer.
right, water, sewer, and,
But we wouldn't have water and sewer or heat if the building was
Well, we
empty.
might have them, but
You
they
would
would
have
be
s-
totally minimum payments.
No, we'd pay.
If it was a
we'd pay-
shell, yeah, but
Yeah.
if we were maintaining the building, we'd have
There's
to
other
pay the
groups
minimum.
that use
Yeah.
the,
They charge
Not
us
just
whether
the
we
senior
use sewer
center.
or not.
That's
There's a
right, I
fee.
think it's $35, but, The fact is, we do have that use for that building, and I don't begrudge them the money. What I do want to make sure is, and here we go again, I don't want to appropriate a penny we don't need to, that's all.
I agree with you, Joe. I mean, if
Give them a breakdown, if we could have a breakdown for
If-
Wednesday.
If they need an extra grand, okey dokey, but if they don't, let's put it back.
I have no problem doing level funding. I have absolutely no problem, because we said right from the get-go
That's
that
right.
whatever we fundraise for the operating expenses above and beyond if it were an empty building, and we will continue to do that.
And you have, and
You
you've
know,
done a
we've done
bang-up job of it,
You know,
truly,
our
truly.
initial monies, the initial $20,000 that the town gave us when we opened in 2010, that's turned in well over $100,000
Oh, yeah, it
in
is.
grants,
Absolutely.
donations to up and
the
running. And we
fact that
serve
we-
over 40 people on a Tuesday and a Thursday for lunch.
And the fact
So
that,
kudos to them.
that building was deteriorated almost to the point of, let's bulldoze it and sell it to...
No, it was not.
There were
It
more,
was in bad shape.
No, it was not.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
not.
well, the
It
It
kid-
needed a
was.
new roof. It was a
I'm not
meeting
talking
house.
about right
It had
now.
just been painted.
Before
And
we
it
put
needed a new
money
roof.
in that building,
The kitchen
it
was
was a
totally
rat's
gutted.
nest.
Yeah, but we weren't going to use the kitchen. We were going to use it as a meeting room.
It was a rat's nest, and it was deteriorated.
there were,
It was not, it was structurally
It was-
sound. It was not ready to be bulldozed. We had it looked at.
they
All
had
right, we're
to,
getting off the subject.
Yeah,
Okay.
and let's move on, because I don't really think we should reduce this. If somebody put that $1,000 in,
If
and knowing what
somebody,
it's for, we have no idea why.
that committee doesn't even know what it's for, I want to know
Oh,
what it's
this
for.
This is for
This is
building maintenance.
building.
I want to know why.
this is, not has
This is
nothing
not
to do
running
with
the
chat.
program.
But you don't know what kind of
We
anticipated stuff.
fundraise what we need.
I understand
This is
that,
from
no,
the
I
town of
understand
Tilton to
that,
maintain the building.
All right.
And its finance officer stuck an extra
Let's move on.
$1,000 in there.
yeah.
Could I ask that
Maybe
we
mango went up.
give them some more information on that? Either lever funder or show what the extra 1,000 is?
Yeah,
Joyce, will you make a note to get that
That'll be a
information?
Wednesday,
Yeah.
another Wednesday.
All right, cemetery, 5,000, that's a given, that's ours. Lakes Region Planning, 3,000, that's an outside agency. To make a motion that we,
Can we blanket the outside agencies after we go down them and make one motion to accept them all?
because I'm not going to accept them all. I don't want to approve all of them. And if you blanket them, then
Well,
you'll
why
approve.
don't you group a couple of them?
Okay. All right.
I'm just
I will
looking in the
make a
interest of
motion.
time.
I agree with you. Good. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the amounts for Lake Region Planning, Youth Assistance, Child and Family Services, Community Action, Franklin Visiting Nurses, Animal Control, that's a contract, New Beginnings,
When we stop with those?
yep.
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
That's, when you said that includes, does not include 99,915?
That's correct.
Okay. No more discussions.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
me,
Okay. So I will make a motion to accept CASA, Silver Lake Association, and the Summer Concert.
What is Silver Lake Association?
That's the milfoil.
milfoil. And why is it
I'd
listed
like
That's
there?
conservation, and
Yeah, I think you should
Yeah.
leave,
That should not be in there?
yeah.
I'll amend my motion to
CASA?
just CASA and Summer Concert.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Silver Lake Association, we have a capital reserve account for milfoil,
Yeah, we took it
and
out
there's
last.
plenty of money in there.
Yeah. I
For
think
their
there was a
request.
misunderstanding.
I think we're okay for this year, they haven't spent what they had.
Well, Silver Lake Association, because they talked to me,
they're going to do it
what they're
each
looking
year.
for is a dedicated amount just to them. Right now, as it
Oh, you
stands,
can't.
they need to go to the Conservation Commission. Yeah, they could do that. if it was approved.
But they can't
In
have
the
it
budget.
dedicated to them, though.
Sure they could. By doing it this way, if town meeting approved this, then that $2,500 goes to Silver Lake Association, and anybody else can make a request out of the reserve fund.
Okay, got it.
So right now,
But
as
you
it
realize,
stands-
of course, Catherine, if you just blanket
Reserve fund as well.
it to the Silver Lake Association, they can use it for any purpose they want.
Right.
Exactly, I'm not in favor, I'm just giving you information.
Okay, I just wanted
No, no,
to,
no.
That's what she's saying.
Let me
Yeah.
finish the rest of my story,
Right.
okay? The capital reserve fund that the Conservation Commission are agents for has plenty of money to cover this request.
That's correct.
They need to go to the Conservation Commission.
That's correct.
If this doesn't pass.
That's correct.
And say, we have this project we would like.
Yep.
That's the rest of my story.
yeah,
No,
Okay.
I'm not in favor of.
okay.
All right, make a motion that we zero fund Silver Lake Association.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Okay, I will make a motion for New Hampshire Association for the Blind for $1,500 to fund them. Do I have a second?
so,
Aye. Second.
I do know they come out not only for the blind that are not seniors, but they're now doing programs with macular degeneration, and then we have seniors right now that they come out and outfit their homes, and each time that they come out, it's $600, and if there's 4 last year that they helped, then there's, $2,400 that they've spent in this area to
Services
help
that
us.
they provide are not available other places, to the best of my
Right,
knowledge.
and they're not.
These people do a heck of a job.
And they're opening, and they come up to the senior center and give programs and allow the seniors to see that there's options, different options for different visibility challenges. And they've been really helpful resource for us to,
But they're only servicing, what, 2 people in town right now?
I think it's
And there was a
full.
client they had that that absolutely will never call them again.
Because of?
I didn't ask the particulars.
I just had one thing.
I think there's 4 right now that they're that I know of.
For me, I can't vote to fund the New Hampshire Association of the Blind. I'm sure they do good, but it's one of those companies, if you look at their financial statement, they have tons of money. They get grants and endowments from all over the place.
And that's how they make up the balance between 1,500 and what it
I
costs
think if
them.
you look, you'll find there are very few municipalities that fund New Hampshire Association of the Blind, just for that reason.
John?
I think it might be nice to give something, but one thing that I found out from them is there's only 3 towns in the whole state of New Hampshire that funds the New Hampshire Association from the Blind, and the rest of their money comes from endowments and donations and fundraising and all that. We have a couple of clients that get served, and originally, when it was presented to the Budget Committee, I said not to fund it at $1 and let people go to the floor and do it. But in second thought, I think we should give something to recognize that they're helping some people in town, but I don't agree with the 1,500.
My personal feeling is I don't care what other towns do, I never have. And what we do is what we do.
The other
And
thing-
that's my personal feeling. I really don't care what they do, whether they fund the island or not, we fund the island. I don't care what they do anywhere else, I care what we do, and I know what they do for the people they help.
The other comment I want to make, and I made to the Budget Committee, is I find that a lot of these 501c3s that can raise money through alternative methods should not be taxing people for their donations. If I was to come to you and say to donate, give me $5 out of your wallet to go to the Joe Schmo Society, and you say, I don't agree with the Joe Schmo Society, and I say, give me the $5 or I'll take your house away. That's what we're doing when we're funding nonprofit organizations. That's just my personal belief, but, so I use
I
it very
get it.
cautious.
All right, let's, any other new concerns or additions? All those in favor?
Aye.
I,
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, the other one is the Pines and Community,
In Genesis.
oh, I'm sorry, Red Cross.
Genesis.
I make a motion that we...
In Genesis.
Okay, I make a motion that we give Red Cross $500.
Second.
Discussion, that's what the Budget Committee approved last night. Red Cross, even though they have done wonderful things here in town in a crisis, and it's sort of like an insurance policy, you really want to know that if it's there, if you need it, it's going to be there. But they have not shown up at the Budget Committee to present their budget to us and their request and answer to it, and they have not requested their monies yet for 2014.
And they requested an extra $1,100?
No, they've consistently asked us for
And why is it 1609?
It's not
Because
oh,
they've consistently requested, they've asked us for more money, and we've only given them 500.
I see, I get it, all
That's
right.
why. They've asked us for 15, last year it was like 1540 or something like that. They've gone up like $60 from last year. I can look it up in the book, but it's like about $60 that they went up.
Well, I've seen them in action, but I know
Yeah.
they've got millions of bucks.
I mean, nationally, and that was one of the concerns last night, nationally, they do get money. It goes to the argument that Catherine made on the New Hampshire Association for the Blind. Unlike New Hampshire Association for the Blind, which relies solely on endowments and grants, they get monies.
From the
American
federal government.
Red Cross gets nationally monies.
And I see the 500 as a show of support, but
Oh, it's like putting money in the bank.
Yep.
And we have, once every 4 or 5 years, some horrible event.
I'm concerned that they haven't even requested the 500, quite frankly.
All right, I'll call the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye. Opposed? Okay. That's all in favor? All right. Community action.
We did community action, community
Action
transit.
Transit, I'm sorry, Community Action Transit. I'll make a motion that we fund them for $2,500.
Second.
I do believe it's a worthwhile project. It's increasing in rides. I wish that they were here to support that. More and more and more people are becoming aware that there's the bus system out there. They're using it for jobs and job searches. They're using it for just transportation. I feel it's a value.
I see the Budget Committee approved 3,000.
I think for the past 3 years at least, I know I have asked them, why aren't they going out and soliciting funds? The Tanger Outlet Mall, they approached them to pay for advertising on the bus, and they declined, but they were willing to give them a donation, but they never went back.
The price that they had asked for, or that they charged for in Concord for wrapping the bus, Tango wasn't willing to pay.
That's right, but they did say they'd be willing to make a donation. They never went after it.
That's because they lost their transportation coordinator. Because I mentioned it to her, and she's like, really? But Terry Page is done, and I don't know who
It only
is-
takes a
Yeah,
few
I
hours
know.
of the day.
This woman is all over the area. It's just,
As a selectman, I've gone and solicited businesses for money for different groups, so,
yeah, no, I understand.
but they just keep coming to Tilton. They don't go to the other communities. There's only, what, 2 other communities, or is there one other?
Laconia and
Laconia,
Franklin are
Guilford,
both on
and
the run.
Franklin, but
No, I don't think
Guilford is
Franklin-
denied, and Franklin has denied. They've
And
gone
so
to
is
them.
Belmont.
But they've gone to them. Each year, they've gone to them.
And they should go to their meetings, Belmont's town meeting and their city meetings. I think...
If we don't have that bus, people are going to suffer. I think that the public transportation should be expanded, not contracted, but this is not necessarily the vehicle. And I'm on the committee, and I understand they're operating on a shoestring, kind of, but operating on a shoestring does not really expand the public transportation necessarily. This is, a lot of it's got to do with senior bus and people with no other transportation. They use it for
That's
work.
not completely so, no, because it is
It's not
a
an
program from the
all-encompassing.
senior transit.
Pardon me?
There
What's
is
that?
some other transit that is available that this augments it, but it's not,
You
This-
cannot,
this fund here is not the sole transportation for seniors.
No, there's volunteer driver program, which is
There's
kind
the
of,
senior bus, which is a separate program, they explained.
yes, but only seniors can get on that bus
Well,
because it's
with
funded by the
disabilities.
American Elders Act.
Yeah, and this helps for people who might be on welfare or
have no car.
that.
No
Have no
car,
transportation.
no transportation, just want to just take the vehicle,
Got to go to the
bad weather.
hospital, got to go to the doctor, got to go
Right.
shopping. And
Bad
those
weather, I
are all
don't
really
wanna drive.
necessary projects, Lord knows.
Call the question.
All right, all those in favor? The motion is 2,500.
Right.
Aye.
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 Okay, now we come to
Genesis.
Genesis. Make a motion that we not fund Genesis.
Second.
Third,
All those in favor?
yes.
Aye. Okay,
And then the Pines.
Fines.
No way.
You know, I'm annoyed at the Pines that there is no, for that organization, there needs to be a plan of action, a 10-year plan. It really disturbed me that they came in, and this monies is to cover raises that should have taken place, what'd they say, 4 years
4
ago?
years ago.
So,
No.
4 years ago, I would have liked to have heard, well, we need to give this person a raise, this is what we're doing, okay.
Remember those conversations?
No?
We just, without hardly, with one dissenting vote, we funded $125,000 worth of library. Hundreds of individuals a month utilize the Pines. This is for the youth of the region and the area. Right now, they're serving well the little kids.
Right, not the high school kids.
Not the middle school kids. We have one of the highest drug and alcohol uses here in the entire state, in our region. A guy died last week in Laconia from heroin. We've made several heroin busts here in town recently.
They offer
They're,
nothing for the older people, so.
well, I said to Jim Doan, how come we don't have how come we don't have a dance? How come we don't have programs for teenagers? He says, I got nobody to staff them. It costs money to put people in the building. They just did a big improvement program this past summer, the Pines bought the stain and the paint and that kind of stuff, and there were 20 volunteers over there painting and staining and sprucing up and trying to make better. Because they can't afford contractors to come in and do their stuff. They have to do their own stuff. I'm all about putting more money into youth programs than I am into buying more drug investigation tools, because I think one is equated with the other, and that affects burglaries and forgeries, and drugs is a scourge in this area. I think this is a way to attack it.
But from what I understood from their demonstration, I'll call it, this money isn't for new programs. This is wages.
That's right.
Well, part of the wages is for people to be in the building when they need them in the building. It's not just to give people
The same
raises.
Staff, you know, if they would communicate with the town of Tilton, they'd be a little happier. If they wanted to have dances over there and they needed staff, why don't they contact us, see if they can get volunteer parents to go over there and chaperone? How about our police department with the Explorers? You know, have they ever made any of those contacts? Have they gotten outside of their box? No. For years and years and years and years and years and years and years, 14 years, I've asked them to have programs for high school and middle school kids. That's the age group that's in such desperate need. No.
Just no, because to hell with them, is that what their attitude
don't.
is? I don't think so.
I think it's easier to deal with the elementary school kids than the problems of the older
Well,
adults.
I think it's easier for them to
They've never given
rely
an
on the town to
explanation.
support them than to go out and get funding and fundraisers necessary to operate.
They have been
Private.
fundraising, they
As a-
have been getting donations, the guy's been out trying to get grants. They're trying, and if they weren't trying the first year, I was willing to cut them to nothing.
I'd like to see the list of what, and we've asked this several years in a row. I'd like to see the list of grants that you've applied for, denied or not, applied for. If you look at the scope of grants that he's asked for, are locally, right around here. You know, Cole, when we're looking for grants and donations for the senior center, 1 out of maybe 9 grants and donations out of corporations that we look and try to knock on their door on the websites to look for grants, they say children only, children only, children only, children only. Maybe we might stick one that says, maybe for the benefit of the community. Those are the ones that we jump on, but all the rest are like Kohl's. But what we see in the grant is that they go to Franklin Savings Bank, they go to 3M, they go to AutoServe, they go to the banks just around here for grants, locally. That's it. After a while, those are going to dry up, and they're going to say, I got to serve other people in the community, not just you, Jim. And that, I think, what happens. They take in approximately $260,000, including the $110,000 or so from us. It costs them about $282,000 to run the place. So
At the level they're running it now.
the level they're running it now. And, I mean, I think that they do good work over there. I think it's a necessary part of the community. But you have to understand, it is a private, nonprofit facility that both towns are supporting as if we're their own. And it's really not. They're doing great things over there, but, you know, there are other agencies that are doing things for our community as well, and they've level funded. They haven't asked for more. This is the only agency this year that's really asked us for a significant increase. And we ask them, the thing that really gets me is we've spent telephone or email tag week after week after week in the Budget Committee, asking them questions, and they come in sporadic. And we got an answer yesterday about some of the income, how it's broken down, what the income is. I think it's forwarded to everybody,
I've
right?
got it, and the usage figures, how they're
The
using...
usage figures and things, but we have to pull that out of them. We're still waiting for the financial transactions, which one of the Budget Committee members have asked. They still have a lot of questions. They're asking for Jim to come back in. Maybe we should table it until they come back
I
in.
make a motion, we level fund the Pines Community Center at $57,500.
At how much?
57.5.
57. I thought you said 67. I knew I wasn't hearing you right.
Second.
Right. Call the question or discussion?
I still think we should wait and get the Budget Committee, get Jim Doan over here in front of the Budget Committee
This budget's
next
going to the Budget
Wednesday.
Committee Wednesday, and we're not going to have enough time between 5:30 and the Budget Committee starts to do all the things that we're already going to do.
You're right about that.
I think they're going to ask Jim to be there next Wednesday,
At the Budget Committee.
and we're going to be there next Wednesday.
I'll be there next
No, it's
Wednesday.
going to be a week from Wednesday that he's coming, because it's the Selectmen's report.
A week
We've asked
from
him
Next
to
week
come.
is the Selectmen's meeting.
Yeah, January 7th, I'm sorry.
Oh, so,
The
yeah.
meeting on January 7th, they've asked him to be there.
Okay.
I'll be there.
All right, all those in favor of the motion for 57.5 level funding?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
Vehemently, aye.
It passes.
Can you please note that,
And we can change that. We can change anything.
I understand that.
I think we should put $1 in and let it fight out at town hall,
Oh, God.
town meeting.
Remember the year we did that? It wasn't $1, but it was like 12,000 or something.
All right, so is that officially done for the budget?
Next Wednesday, we can vote. Oh, we haven't done,
IT?
we haven't done
IT.
Shin's IT.
Okay, personally, I feel we should go with the high end on it, because I really think that trying to come out with what to bring out, we really do need that phone system. I'm telling you, we need the phone system.
We don't need a phone system that we have to pay yearly for.
Everybody.
We don't pay yearly for our phone system. We bought it, it's in, it's there. It's not so critical that we have a phone system that I can pick up the phone and instead of dialing 7 numbers, I'm going to dial 1, to get them. I just don't see it as that critical. We have enough lines coming in. They have a lot of lines coming out, going in. For me, the phone system is, wow, I hate those yearly fees.
Well, this comes from all sections of the budget. It's just now we can see what it's costing us.
Right.
But we haven't been paying a yearly fee for our phone systems.
No, we haven't.
And this particular
Well, we
one,
pay month to month. We own
we pay
the,
month to month
we
for
own the
the
equipment.
telephone
we own the
line,
equipment, but
the phone calls coming in, but not for the system. This system is going to require a yearly fee, just like our software fees, and it probably is a software fee.
Where does it say that?
I don't know, I was talking to Tim about it.
I think you should discuss it with the finance director after
did.
I asked a bunch of questions. It made perfectly good sense to me that this could lead to significant gains in productivity, and time is money. If we expect people to be more productive, I think we need to give them the tools to do so.
Yeah, but you also have to remember, we're in the hospitality industry, basically. That's what a municipality is. We serve the people. We don't serve the people by having them pick up a phone system that nobody ever answers. We'll call you back. Click. I love calling the state down there and getting
Hopefully it
that.
doesn't get...
And then 2 or 3 days later, they call me back. Heaven forbid, somebody with a true emergency calls up and they get the phone system that says, "We'll call you back." Click. I just think that's a bad precedent.
I make a motion we take the high.
It's a $1,000 annual maintenance
Second.
service for the radio phone recording device.
Actually, we don't vote on that.
$1,000.
That's a
10 years of-
recording,
Just
that
change
has
the
nothing to
number
do with the
because it's
phone
part of our
system.
He said there was an
That's-
annual fee for the phone system. I asked him, when I saw the Fairpoint guys down there the other day, I'm asking him
Communications.
daily.
What's the $4,000 alert Tilton? Why did he take that out?
That he has a different
Program.
program
He's been
that he's been testing right now that's cheaper, and so he's looking into that, but he hasn't made any. The only difference with that one right now, it doesn't email people. It will text and it will call, but it won't email.
Both of which I got just recently,
Right.
so it's
So,
working.
It's on a per call, per user,
it's a per call, per user basis,
rather than a flat fee.
instead of a flat fee of $4,000.
I'm looking at, the high end includes a lot of those extra things, and it's very difficult to group this into a category, because there's certain things in the high end that I like, but I don't like. Certain things in level funded that I agree with.
Was there a motion?
I'm thinking if we went with the level
Well, he made a
funded.
motion, but that's part of our
budget.
regular budget. We don't make a motion on the in-house ones. We decide on them.
Do we agree or disagree?
I'm looking at the level funded myself. Just
What,
some of those other things.
84.7 level funded?
seem to be able to find money left over in other places towards the end of the year to fill out some of the things we've needed before. and I'd
That's
like
what I'm
run
trying
it.
to avoid, is having money at the end of the year.
Yep, and I think if we go with the level funded, if we can save money in other places, we can fill in the blanks on the, that are needed.
I really do think we need the phone system.
Me too.
We need a phone system, but there are other phone systems out there that don't require that yearly.
We still
Need
have to put
15
money-
grand for our
I
phone
agree with
system
you.
this year.
Catherine, if that is the case, I
Communications.
agree with you that we shouldn't have to be paying a yearly fee on a phone system. On a phone and bandwidth and phone service, I agree with. But if that's the case, we still have to put it in the budget, and then we can agree on what service we're actually getting.
Can I ask what's wrong with the phone system we have? Because we've replaced phone systems every 2 years.
We haven't replaced
No.
this one in,
Lightning strike, wasn't it?
we
Yeah, that
may have
doesn't replace
replaced
the phone
a
system.
phone, but we
Replace the
haven't
phone.
replaced a phone
That was a
system.
major, that was thousands of dollars for that.
But I don't think that was, because these phones are still the phones, that was something else.
We have not replaced
That was-
these phones here in Town Hall in
That-
6 years
that
I've been
was-
here.
That was before Tim became finance director. 'Cause
Right.
I remember Tim Lang came over and replaced all our phones.
Now, that's in communications, right?
Get
What
these
is,
phones
what's
from Tim
wrong
Lang?
with what we
No,
have?
no, Blackwater, but
Blackwater.
Can I have,
the lightning strike was Tim Lang came over and helped.
Well, at the PD, the phones are very antiquated, and they don't speak with each other at all.
what does that mean?
That,
Chief can't call the detective. Well, he can call him if he calls him. Is that the way that works, Chief? Can you press a button and it rings in the detective's office, or do you have to call him or walk in there?
No, you can, but it doesn't have enough lines, so like our emergency lines 4442, we only have one of them, so if you get 3 emergency calls coming at the same time, 2 people are getting a busy signal. And then if 3 people use a phone in the building, no one else can use it, because
So if it gets a busy signal, doesn't it send it over to the Belknap?
not if we have the line during the day. And then if it goes to Belknap, we only have one line over there, so this system, Tim explained, we could add as many 4442 lines as we need. And so right now, like if detectives are on the phone, Terry's on the phone, and Chris is on the phone, if I pick up the phone to use it, I won't get a dial tone because there's not enough lines. So that, I think that's, and from what
So you get, there's what, 3 lines now?
Yeah.
But not having enough lines isn't the phone system.
That's part of it.
No, it isn't, it's paying for another line. Another
but the
number.
phone system has to handle another line.
Yeah.
There are
Yes,
some
but-
phone systems that only can handle,
So how many lines can that phone system handle?
Well, that one's
Tim
maxed out.
Tim has said it's
Three.
maxed out.
Oh, I
That's
haven't
what the
heard
problem
that.
is.
That's why I said that, I haven't heard that.
Downstairs, it's not, here, it's not maxed out. We have, oh, yes, it is. Extensions, excuse me, extensions are maxed out, but the lines aren't maxed out.
Getting back to the whole thing, I really think if we go with the level funded, we can find the extra money if we need to somewhere else, if it's really that important, or, because we're asked to accept a whole group of these things, and I think we could go with the level funded amount and tweak it out from there.
I'm gonna make a question. Well, yeah.
I'm gonna,
Level fund which amount?
everything, that means it
Level funded
excludes
plan.
Oh, I can't vote to level fund the
either the...
IT budget.
Right, because that's cutting out a lot of things that he has a plan to replace, and I can't see doing that.
No, it jeopardizes our whole
Plan of,
plan of action, getting into a,
all right, consensus, so we can,
I like the 98.8 number.
so that's the middle one.
No, that's the far out,
What's the middle plan?
that's the one that's listed on the budget right here, 98,899.
That's the middle plan.
That's the middle plan, yeah.
That one that's called, oh,
you know what, I'm going to make a motion to go with $107,407. That's the high-end plan.
We don't need a motion.
I like that number. I want the best technology we can put in
I'll
our
second that.
offices, our cars, our servers, our phones, everything.
I already put a motion toward that anyways.
Well,
Well, I made a motion because of the conversation.
It's a pseudo motion.
what Catherine said. I'm in favor of what
All
Catherine
those-
said.
I am.
All those in favor?
I am.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay. So let's go with that. Finance, we went over already with him. There were a couple of changes that he was going to make. So you got all your notes there, Joyce?
I do.
So you can work with him tomorrow and come up with a clean sheet for us on Wednesday?
Call him tonight, see where he was, if he could break away so that we could get this entered. I'm just a little concerned about the time that you'll have on Wednesday to do all these changes.
Well, we need to have it sent to us.
Okay.
And we can all look at it individually.
Okay.
And then come to that meeting with our individual questions, so we're not looking through the whole entire budget. That we come with those independent questions. There's a few things that we need answers to, like purchasing the cruiser. I told them, Chief, about purchasing the cruiser strictly from the detail.
Well, we needed information on the lease and things, so that's our next question.
That's number one with the chief and Tim.
Right.
And
We're going to meet Wednesday at 5:30, so you're expected to be there, and then just continue that meeting with the Budget Committee, because that's our public, that's our, presenting our budget with the public, with the Budget Committee. So you have our questions, you have our, the changes that we've made, and you get with Tim either tonight or tomorrow, and you'll give us a new sheet.
Yep.
And then we can look over the sheet, question what we, bring our questions to Wednesday at 5:30. You sure 5:30's early enough?
Gonna have to be.
Seriously, because,
An hour and a half.
oh, okay, yeah, it's an hour and a half.
did you want
As long as
some
we're not long-winded.
dinner? I can bring a pizza treat. A Cindy pizza.
Cindy Pizza, oh, yeah.
I don't think the guys care too much for Cindy Pizza. I love it, but
It's got in broccoli or something.
eggplant, it's meatless.
Lots of garlic.
I like eggplant.
I love
It's always
eggplant.
good for a meeting.
Aye.
All right, I'll get us Cindy's and meat lovers. You like meat?
Anything.
Yep.
I'm good either way, but
That's all.
Well, at least
I
that
love
way you don't have
anchovies.
to worry about supper and...
Can we
Okay.
do the acceptance of donation and gifts before we
Yes, right
forget?
now, that's exactly where I was going.
So we're
Thank
done
you.
with
We're
budget.
done with
Okay.
budget. All right, you got the list?
No, I don't have a list.
All right.
We don't have to have a list. It doesn't say it has to be specific. We can make it general because they're still getting gifts and donations.
There you go, just
We're
do
a
it.
very generous public.
Go ahead.
second,
I'd like to make a motion to accept the generous donation and gifts coming in for the Christmas event for the park commissioners.
second,
All those in favor?
yes.
Aye.
All right.
And boy, there are some generous gifts out
Okay,
there.
I would also love to accept the generous donations from the Barbudos Tilton Trailer Rental for $500 for the Thanksgiving turkeys and $500 for the Christmas fund, and the employees gave them money for $75 for the Santa fund as well.
Second, and bravo.
All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes, okay. So, Joyce, do you...
Thanks.
Yeah, very much. I mean, that's amazing. We have gifts and trees with tags on them out there at Tilton House of Pizza, Walmart, and Pauley's. And right now, I can tell you from my firsthand experience that usually I make 2 or 3 trips during this time to collect them. I haven't made one yet. There's nothing under the trees, so there's really a need.
And where does those donations go? Those
To the-
toys?
To the Tilton Northfield Samerton's Christmas Fund. So if you're out there listening and you need, like to give a little gift, just pick up a name off the tree and drop it off unwrapped with the tag in there. That would help out a great deal, because it's really very different this year. Okay, do you have a few things you needed to bring up in public, or are you going to bring it?
In public, in the to be signed? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
There should be a whole slew of them. Okay. Lauren was here, and she has a couple of abatements. This abatement is due to the fact that even though we had increased the value based upon the fact that it was being marketed for $50,000, come to find out, it does not have any beach rights. So that's why Lauren is recommending that that one be approved. This next one is a property that was being billed to the wrong individual. We don't know how that happened. We could have researched it further, but we were quick to correct it. So this is an abatement to the person that received the bill, and this is a supplemental tax warrant sending it to the correct person. So both of those go together and need to be signed. This next one is another abatement. Someone that came in and met with Lauren, and that the frontage of the property was not assessed in error. What is the name on this one? Yeah, that's that one.
That's for Perry.
I'm sorry, that's not an abatement, that's a supplemental warrant. This one is an abatement. The physical data in the home is a seasonal camp with minimum insulation and B-average construction as a home. So that's an abatement. These are all relatively small amounts. Okay, this is...
I don't know what this is.
This is a veteran's tax credit.
I put that note on there
Yeah.
because it shows the other two, the disability and the blind, but yet in the column, it doesn't show that it's granted or denied. And I know that that's passed, it's not this action, but I think it should at least show that
Those
they...
shouldn't be, I mean, the amounts we have to include, but take those check marks out.
Okay.
Because this form is used for all of them.
Right, but it looks
Yeah.
like that, I mean,
Yep.
it looks like you're doing it with this form.
I can white that out, but I have to leave those amounts in there.
Yes.
Okay. That's a veteran's credit. I haven't checked these for signatures. So these are all set to be signed, right, Catherine? These are, this is a new haulers, this is a renewal, this is a renewal, and this is a renewal.
And you need to, are we going to talk about that other one in non-pub? I think it's public.
Oh, it is, yes, it is. Okay, and then these,
Doesn't, it's not
these should have
completely
been
filled out, is
signed
it?
last week, but they didn't get to the board, so, so today is the 11th.
You didn't sign this one, Joe, but
These are the two people that the board had approved to hire. On the other haulers, we had denied a license to Empire Recycling, and he's paid in full. Everything is paid up to date as of today.
including the 125 license fee?
No, we
No, we
sent that back.
I understand that, but we can't
Past
approve
due.
a,
Well, no, the past due that he owed us.
yes, but
Okay.
he still owes us $125 if he wants to get a license,
But
correct?
That is correct. And what he's requesting is to, the
Be
board
allowed?
to repeal their denial of the license, and would like to meet with the board.
I would love for him to come up and meet with us.
Me, yes.
So I'd need a date and a time.
I'm not in favor of reinstating his
appeal.
license, but I'd be more than happy to listen to him.
And we can talk about it after we've listened to the gentleman.
Is that something where, if somebody has questionable credit with us, that we could request like a year bond or something put up?
I guess we can request anything we want.
You'd have to make it part of your ordinance, I think.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? If you're requesting to have a bond, if we had questionable credit.
If we did it for one, we'd have to do it for everybody.
Exactly, so it'd have to be a part of the...
Somebody had previous bad payment.
We're always
Payment
chasing them,
history.
always.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, you're always knocking on the door.
Maybe
Well, and
people
there's
like
the
that need
safety factor.
A one-year bond put into place for
Can we
past
ask
history,
the
same with trash bags.
DOT to send us any of the information they could possibly send us?
She directed me to where to look onto the website.
Okay. All right, so can we get that information? I think the next appointment available, I mean, we have December.
March 1st.
I think that's onerous.
All right, so
It's basically what,
I don't necessarily disagree,
the
but it's
18th is
onerous.
the only meeting we have, and that's after budget. I really think that we're going to be really busy. Then we have
We can give him
Christmas and
10
New
minutes
Year's.
anytime.
January 8th. We can do what?
We could give him 10 minutes anytime, because in 10 minutes, he's either going to convince us or not. And to keep dragging this out is just being punitive. He's paid his money, and if he's got a good thing about, I'm going to pay the money or whatever,
Do you know how many times he's paid the money in the last year and then still gone 3-4 months behind?
yes, I kind of do, and that's why he needs to come in here and talk to us, but
Requiring us to respond to him with a hearing in a certain amount of time.
no, it's just, he has to respond to the board in writing. He met
30
that
days.
deadline to request a hearing.
Okay.
So he's going to ask to have his
You
license.
did request a hearing in that
Yes.
letter that I got?
I look forward, hearing your response. This letter is to request a repeal of your denial.
so that's a hearing.
That's a request for a hearing.
And I think we owe it to him to give it to him in a timely manner as much as we can, and decide accordingly when the time comes.
You keep
He's
saying,
going to need more than 10 minutes.
you keep
Because
saying
the
that
stuff
we...
that's
Not
going to
for
come
me,
out
it
of him-
doesn't.
Yeah, but the stuff that comes out of him is going to take more than 10 minutes.
spent 10
He's going to
minutes now.
introduce
You
himself,
can't
give us
even
his history.
introduce yourself on the phone in less than 5. Because he just,
He's going to tell us about all his...
You've got a
stories.
hammer right there, Pat. Hammer him.
Where have you got?
Somebody's going to catch it.
well, the
8th.
18th, which is after Christmas, after the Budget Committee,
No way.
and then it's the 25th is Christmas, we've got a
So
meeting
we're
we
not-
have to decide on Northfield, because Northfield can't meet on the 22nd. They'd like us to go to them on the 23rd.
So we're not meeting on the 25th or the 1st?
Right.
That's 2 weeks without a meeting?
No, we got to decide that, I said.
That's frightening.
It is. And so then it becomes
Sounds good.
January 8th.
Right, and also Rip would like to come in, and so we could do that before Christmas. I said, could he come in after that first meeting in January? He said, whatever the board wants.
I just don't want to put our grant in jeopardy.
Is it putting our grant in jeopardy?
I don't want to put the grant
Oh, no,
in
we're
jeopardy,
not.
as long as it's no problem with the money.
All right, so the 8th, is there a timeline we have to get him in?
No.
Then
that's
I'd
what-
suggest January 8th.
What about his account? Have they made other arrangements in the interim?
His account, yes, I believe so. I've been in contact with them daily.
Okay.
Because they can't be storing it over there.
No, and I sent them our list of our
This one
other
here from me.
licensed
They're not
haulers.
supposed to, Al.
He's never had a license in Town Tilton, has he?
Yes, he has, in 2012, which expired in November of 2013. So he didn't renew from 2013 to 2014.
So he didn't have a license this past year?
Right, and then he
That's
applied for one for 14,
Yeah.
15, but that's the one we denied.
What month in 2013 did that expire?
November.
Make a difference if it was the first part of the year.
No, I think the letter was dated November 1st, oh, she left, November 1st, so they're only good for 12 months. She left.
Don't want to hang any business out.
6 o'clock.
All these haulers
6:30.
paid their fees?
Yep.
Did it on time or early?
I know, and we're signing them.
The list of clients, everything's on here. Is the one that's missing consistently and doesn't pay. You
All right,
guys can-
I would
I
say
just want to get the
January
hearing done in a
17th,
timely
January
manner.
8th at
That needs to be noticed as a hearing.
yeah, and I would say at 4:30, yeah, well,
That's not a public hearing.
I would say at 5 o'clock.
Yes, it do.
Yes, it
It's
is.
just a appeal for us to change
The
our
ordinance says he requests a hearing, does
Right.
it not?
Right.
okey dokey.
You have to give them due process.
Well, then it would have to be January 8th, because we can't do it before then.
And
What time can you get?
I would say 5 o'clock
5
because
o'clock, John.
John,
Yep.
John's the ample time for John to get here.
And we can notice it in
Because
the
you don't, you have
papers
no
and
idea of the
everything
weather, right?
That weather, yeah.
Right. So 5 PM and it would be Empire.
Okay, and the other thing we're doing is we're only communicating to him in writing.
Okay, the other, while we're on the subject of that, Christmas week, Northfield, we had a date that we had suggested for Northfield on the 22nd at 5 PM. They cannot make it. They would like to meet on Tuesday, the 23rd at
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock in Northfield.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
won't be there.
Can't because it's a planning board.
It's planning board and I have a cooking class.
I thought, planning board was all done for December.
No.
Not
Second.
according to
They're going
my
to have a
phone.
workshop? Oh, because they canceled
They
their,
canceled on the
Canceled.
9th.
that's why, they canceled.
So I think that we probably need to make it, what was the reason they couldn't do it on a Monday?
It's, Kevin Waldron is out of town.
I thought he was,
There's still a majority, I just don't understand that. We've got to get it going, but we can't get all of us. We don't have a majority to go over there.
On what day?
Al and John,
He can't do it,
What day is it on?
Tuesday,
Tuesday.
What's the date?
23rd.
Nope.
Are you on vacation that week?
No, I'm gonna be in bed that night.
Okay.
I can only come out so many nights a week, I mean,
it's not good for your health.
So how about if the selectmen meet on the 22nd at 5 o'clock as a selectmen meeting for the week of the 25th, in
Okay.
place of Thursday? Is everybody okay with that?
Okay.
5 o'clock on Monday?
Monday at, well, 4:30, I don't care, it doesn't matter.
Monday.
We don't want to
John,
put
what do you
John
think?
out of the play. We might as well
Yeah.
do it at 5.
4:30? Or do you want it at 5? Would it,
I
What are we
I
gonna
would
do
get here
that
like
night?
at,
we're just signing payroll and anything that's come
Yeah.
to us at that point?
I'll probably be here 4:30 to 4:45.
Last minute
So-
requests for stuff?
How about we split it 04:45?
4:45, okay. And then the next week, we have, do you want to meet on the 29th?
Is that a Monday or a Tuesday?
Monday. Because then it's New Year's Eve and then New Year's.
I think the going 2 weeks without a meeting is going to make the 8th very interesting. So the 5th at 4:45?
The 29th, the 22nd at 4:45 and the
And the
29th.
29th at 4:45.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yep, I am.
I might be on vacation, but it's okay. You can do
Because
things
we
like-
might
This is going to be
Just go to-
payroll and
Just,
just
you
the
know-
bare minimum.
Just stuff that we absolutely have to,
Sign and,
yep.
Okay, so I'll tell them the 23rd is out. What if they say they could stop over on the 29th?
Yep,
we'll be here.
Okay,
we'll do that.
and then January 8th, and then, do you want Rip to come in January 8th?
Why is he coming in?
Just to give you a report on what's going on and answer any questions that you have.
He couldn't give us one in paper? And then if we had any questions, he could come?
It'd just be easier if he explained it to you. Because I know, like, the Conservation Commission, they have concerns because NPRO wasn't able to finish.
So do you, when RIP comes, you want the conservation to come too?
Invite
That's at
them.
least a half hour,
Absolutely.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Deal. If it were just us, it would be one thing, but, having other entities
And we'd
come,
be
you
remiss
add...
in not having the conservation.
You would,
Commission
that's
have
exactly right, you
All
would.
right, well, do you want him just to write up a report?
that. No, have him
That
come,
might
have
make
everybody
the
come.
actual meeting go quicker.
You can visit.
No,
you
if
can
they
meet
have
with
questions,
Concom by
he should
himself.
come.
Oh, yeah, but if we have the report in advance, that might shorten the length of time the
Maybe he could just
questions
give us an
have.
outline rather than actually writing a
Yeah,
formal report.
yeah.
Just give us an outline of topics.
Okay.
All right, so
Something along those
So
lines.
what times did you want to have the hearing and
For Empire?
I thought he was going to give a written report.
No, he's just going to give us an outline ahead of time.
All right. RIP can be,
not
Let's
too
get-
late, because he's coming from Maine.
well, we have the other one coming at 5. Why don't we have RIP come at 5 and the other one come at 6?
Sure.
Sounds good.
There isn't a signature page for this.
On the back of the sheet, isn't it?
Yeah, flip it.
No,
No.
the back of the front sheet, Catherine.
Oh.
They're all like that, dearie.
Okay. Do you have anything else
Thank
for
you.
us, Joyce?
No, I just want to give this to Catherine. Catherine, did you get these quotes for the trees? You didn't bring that up yet.
Yes, I did. I was going to bring it up
Okay,
when,
all right.
we can bring it up now.
That's it.
I have pictures too.
You have pictures, too?
I have pictures too.
Did you do the minutes yet?
No.
Okay.
And I think we need to get through the selectmen's reports first.
Yep.
Because that's really important. We have some things on the agendas there that
Yep.
have to be taken care of. So, John, do you have anything? Catherine has a slew, so why don't we, do you have something now?
I don't know
Just
what's
one-
missing out
just-
of this. I don't think it's all in there, Joyce.
Just one. Tonight is the co-op budget meeting, and Assistant Director DeMoss has gone as the alternate, and will be voting. I discussed with him the particulars, and this will be his first meeting, so he's going to be in touch tomorrow. So I'll have a report about how it went next week. That's it for Joe. Oh, and I got tased. For those who aren't aware out there, I got tased, and it's on the Police Department Facebook page. You can check that out for yourself. And I got to tell you that if you've never been tased, the results are you wouldn't be fighting, arguing, resisting. You would be down on the ground. I think it's a totally good alternative to being shot, because when you pull out a taser, the next step is to get shot. So I'm all in favor of tasing as opposed to shooting. But don't get tased. I wouldn't advise it. And that's it. And thank you for that opportunity, Chief.
Now, except you were supposed to let us know so we could go watch.
Well, it kind of was like it was floating around, and and it was,
No, we knew it was on the 11th.
yeah, but the timing
know the
and how it
time.
was going to work, I didn't find out till the night before. and calling around. It's videotaped, and,
I haven't used them in 5 years, that's why I brought them in.
but if you want to get hooked up, Catherine, I'll
Nope.
tell you, all right then. You just wanted
Get it
to
off my
laugh at
electric
me.
fence enough, and that's plenty for me, and when my screwdriver slips in the barn.
All right, moving right along. First, we need to wish Joe a happy birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday.
Happy?
Thank you very much. I'm 113.
Nice.
That means I get the cane, right?
Don't go there. The other, I think we've covered everything. This is the first parade that I will be missing in 6 years.
Oh, yeah,
And you made me get
rescheduled
all that
parade.
candy?
And I'm don't worry, there's two taking my place. There's
And I've got two hands.
It's been rescheduled to this Saturday at 4. I'm counting on you, Joe. Joe and John. Joe has volunteered to take Andrew Pearson and Emily Thibodeau.
Yep, and my nephews will be there, and we're gonna toss candy.
Saturday, the 20th.
No. Day after tomorrow.
Saturday the 14th.
I did not bring before I leave
The 13th.
13th.
trip, I'll bring the bags, and then I just
Parade is
divvy up the bags and leave
Leaving the school
them
at 4 o'clock.
just leave them in Catherine's
Union
office
Samurai.
with
So
all
the
the
parade will
bags.
come through here
with
shortly
candy. I just
thereafter.
go open the bags and then just empty the
Santa has to leave at 5:45.
Part in each bag or whatever, and I'll pick them up,
each bag, and then Joe will come on Saturday to pick them up.
and I'll
right?
come and pick them up,
And
so.
Dennis already took the magnetic signs.
So is that okay? I'll just drop the bags off really early in the morning before I leave?
Yep.
Okay. So I'm really sad, everybody, you won't see me throwing candy. Okay. Peter Salibas contacted me this afternoon.
Right on the cell phone.
Okay.
Sounds like my sister.
That's good, that's good.
Sherry?
I was leaning on the counter.
Town hall's closed down there.
You can still come in town hall.
It's open to the public.
I know, it's frightening now.
I know. Why is that so?
Well, I have to use the men's room anyway, maybe I'll use the one downstairs.
What's the matter?
There's somebody downstairs.
Yeah. All right, so,
He had a bag in his hand, he doesn't have a bag in his hand anymore.
anyway, he just asked if he could make a phone call to me, and I said I would be available, and Peter Salibas.
Oh,
So I'm assuming that it's about the schedule, about the
lights?
lights. And he emailed me back and said that he'd call me on Monday. So I'll just make sure everybody is aware of what's taking place. All right? That's about it. Okay, everything else has been, budget, last night, budget. No, we went over it.
Think about that.
Yep, go ahead.
All right, Dennis came in this afternoon, and he has proposals and estimates to take the trees down at the cemetery, down by the Anchorage on Route 3. Did everybody get a chance to go down there?
I did not.
Well, I took some pictures. So this is the cemetery.
Ooh,
You can see that this monument just missed damage, and you see this trunk here? I think that's a pole. You'll see it in this picture here, which shows you the proximity of these trees. I'm going to pass them around. There's 2 pine trees, they're bull pines close together, and this is an oak. So the proposal is to take, as you look at the picture, just the tree on the right down. So I'll start the pictures with you, and you can pass them down.
I've seen them.
And the reason for just that tree on the right, that one bull pine, is so the branches don't fall on the power lines. But the near miss in the cemetery really is disturbing me. That's quite an old monument there.
yes.
And I think both bull pines should come down. I've left messages with two of these. I was able to get a hold of chippers, and they gave me a price to take down both trees and to, do some dead limbing, and there's a branch, you can see it off that oak, well, not in that picture.
Big in here?
No, I'm using this, see that shows
Oh,
up
okay,
there?
okay.
Gives you an idea how close they are. They're right here. You see this right here?
Yep.
That is the side of one of them, right there. That's how close they are to the cemetery. So it increased his price to take down the additional tree, and I wasn't going to say those are the prices online, because I think we can decide this next year. Nobody can get to it until at least the end of the month, or maybe January. And we have plenty of time to get into agreement with them. But it increased Chipper's price by $1,550, $1,250 to take down the additional tree, because they're already on site. And the $300 to just take down the old branches out of the oak and make it more productive. They were not the lowest.
Who's the,
This is a new price, and that's a new price. Just my opinion, I just think both bull pines should come down.
Does the resident have cable?
Nope. But we're not going to get those trees down. These companies can't get there because of the storms until, Chippers is saying maybe the last week of the month, maybe.
why aren't we going with the people that are local that took down the trees for us when
Because
we
you need
were...
a crane,
Yeah, but one of them had a crane.
or has a bucket.
Which tree are we discussing?
Bucket truck.
I
They
sent a
just wouldn't
picture,
get high
the
enough.
cemetery down by the anchorage. I took pictures of it.
All righty.
Can we do that with this year's monies?
I'll hopefully, unless you want to take just
No,
one pine tree,
I think both of them need to come down.
we can make a decision tonight. but-
Joe, these are the trees.
It's cheaper to
See, the
have them
two
both taken down now
large
than to have
ones
them come back
Can
and
go
take
to
the
the
other.
next page.
Well, I just think,
Too large
because of the
bull pine.
monuments, you look at those monuments, and that one monument in the
Yeah,
center.
yeah.
The prices to take them down
If
are only
if that was destroyed,
the
that would be,
one on the right.
And this is located where, Catherine,
down by
exactly?
the anchorage.
See the one the branch that's squared off there?
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
close-up
Can
view.
decide
You can see
tonight
the
that's-
proximity.
There's several trees I've seen with laying on
Well, I don't have a
wires.
price
and-
from the other two.
Yeah.
Oh, you just got it from one. I thought
Only
you got
one of them called me back.
Can
Well,
we,
These are
make a,
definitely an hour right away, Catherine.
Pardon?
These are
Our
definitely an hour right
Oh,
away.
they're in our cemetery,
they're in
yeah.
our cemetery.
Okay, all right.
Can we make a phone call back to these people and ask them to take the other one down? Price them to
did.
take the other one? And they haven't got back
They
to
haven't
us?
gotten back to me.
So if we find out,
I'm just passing
is it
back.
consensus that we need both down?
I can keep, I'll call them again tomorrow. If I don't hear, I gave them both my
They're both
my
about the
personal
same
cell
age
phone
and all
in
that.
town hall, so, and I told them they could call me from 4:30 in the morning to 11 at night.
So consensus, Catherine, is to take both down. So if we get a price on both of them, perhaps maybe you can bring it next week, and then we can make a decision to go ahead and do that. We can do it with 2014s.
And those are all the trees within the cemetery that are in danger of,
No, I think that there's a few others, but
Well, you can see from the picture, there's an oak tree there.
oak trees
But
are a
an
little
oak tree's
different.
roots aren't shallow. The problem with pine trees, too, is their roots are shallow. They send surface roots out.
Yeah, it's amazing.
The tree goes over, and
Oh, I
and
know.
pine trees are very shallow, and they could go over. Let's say it goes over.
Yeah.
It's not coming up alone.
Hill Road, yeah,
the
Hill Road,
cemetery.
it was amazing. 100-foot pine trees and this little shallow root ball.
Yep.
Like, wow.
I can show you a section of my woods. The 38 hurricane blew down every single pine tree in it. You can still see the hummocks of the root balls.
okay.
Kind of cool, actually.
Next.
The Tilton Field lights we covered. We can wait, that can wait. We're going to discuss that one later, and we discussed this, we accepted the ADA parking.
Yes, do you want the report from Dennis?
Yes, I think we should all hear what's going on. Oh, the other thing, I forgot to bring the map.
Maybe you already covered it, but while we're waiting on that, can we vote to close the dump on the 24th?
Well, yeah, I was going to say, it was brought to my attention that our Christmas party is on the 24th. We're closing Town Hall at 12 o'clock and letting our employees go home, and that's a dump day. So Dennis would like to put a sign up that indicates to people that there will not be taking any refuse that day,
I would put it up this week.
unless we object.
I'm fine.
Okay.
What are the hours for the dump?
1 to 4.
Oh, okay.
On
1 to
Wednesday.
1 to 3, yeah, because they're out at 3:30.
1 to 3.
I was at a school district meeting, I don't know if it was the first Friday of the month, I guess it was last Friday. They'd asked me to go. We're moving the election from there, from the middle school to the high school. They asked me about the traffic flow, and I said, look, you come up with a plan that works for you, I'll bring it back to the selectmen. So, and unfortunately, I can bring it next week, but just to give you an FYI, it's in Catherine and Joyce's office. Route 311, the first ingress and egress, will also be our ingress and egress. They'd like us to come in and out that way, no other way. They'd like us to sign it.
The easterly?
If you're headed west or east, if you're headed west, it's the first one, the one closest to Deer Street.
So we can just put the voting signs there, that will indicate,
Well, yeah, and then
because we can't
Our
block off
parking.
the other entrances.
our parking will continue through that parking lot, past the gym entrance, and to the right will be our parking. They're going to give us handicap parking all along the backside of the gym, where there is an ingress and egress door into the gym.
Yep. The front door as well.
They will reroute their bus traffic so that it will come in from Deer Street and go out of what I call the new entrance.
Yeah.
From that new parking lot. It was new to me.
Well, it's new from back in our day.
Yeah.
When we were kids, yeah.
So we can look at it next week. They meet the first Friday of every month. So when you walk in there, take a look at it. It's
The
a
general
little,
parking lot for non-handicap is where?
as you drive
First
in,
lot
you
on the
go
right.
past the gym,
First right?
and it's on the right.
And that's designated spots?
Yes,
Give us a-
there's still going to be some teacher parking in there. We will have approximately, I think, didn't they say 28 spaces, Chief?
Yeah, it doubles what we have now, which
Yeah.
we was surprised
It's going to be basically like town meeting. You pull in that, and you go up and you park in that lot, and then you walk across the
Well,
way.
Town meeting, when we have our town meeting there, it's Saturday, and they're not.
I know, but
So we park anywhere we want.
it's going to be back in that back parking lot.
For voting, this is for voting day, when school is in session.
Yes.
This is the plan. They talked a little bit about the next presidential election is probably going to be heavily attended, and they've
I would
talked
think.
about the possibility of closing school.
That's a good idea.
So, but like I said, that's what, 2 years off?
Yep.
So anyway, look at that, there's a picture, I didn't do the color photo, I took it from the school, but it's sitting in Catherine's office, so just take a look at it. And from what I understand from Dennis on the ADA parking, that it's going to take at least 2, maybe half of another one, so we may end up having to use up 3 spaces in that parking lot to make that van parking, which seems like it's horrible.
It is what it is. We have to accommodate the veterans home and anybody else who comes in a van or a
Why
bus.
would it take up 3?
On Mechanic Street?
I don't know.
we're talking about voting still. See,
We
I-
only need
Never
an
mind.
ADA space that accommodates a van. We don't need a car and a van.
No, he understands.
One space.
You have to have a wide enough space to accommodate the van, and then you have to have so many feet of...
You have to have 8 feet, right.
So it's at least 1.5, 2 parking spaces.
Oh, I thought you said 2.5.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
horrible, okay.
It was-
2's bad enough. Going into taking 3 would be horrible.
This is,
But he's posted a sign.
yeah, this is his report. The parking lot off School Street, which we call Lot D, has 1 van accessible and 1 handicap, so it's got 2 lots. Lot B, which is the old Providian parking lot, has 1 van and 1 handicap, so there's 2 there. Lot B is the Tilton House of Pizza lot, that has 1 van accessible. That's Lot G. The old post office lot has 1 van accessible. Riverfront Park has the little drop-off off Route 3. It's not for parking. But then in the parking lot itself, there is a handicap, Riverfront Park.
Just a handicap?
Yeah.
But isn't there 2 handicaps?
He said he'll check.
I think there's 2 handicaps in Riverfront.
Really?
I think so. As you go in on the left, I'm pretty sure there's 2.
So that's a small lot, okay. And then Mechanic Street, he did go install a sign today. The only one that doesn't have any handicap parking is, we call Lot C, which is to the, if you're facing the fire station, right next to the fire station. There's no handicap parking in there.
We granted permission for a resident to park in the municipal parking area with the stipulation that they would not park in the handicap, and that they would leave the phone numbers with the PD and highway, and they've yet to do that, so that we're plowing around that vehicle, which makes it very, very difficult to get around it. They're not calling and getting them to move, which was what the criteria was, remember, when we granted it.
I didn't think we actually granted it because they wanted to use our handicap, right?
We said, no, not the handicap, the space next to it you can, because it was there, and because they are handicapped, but during the day, we needed that open and accessible to handicapped people that come into Town Hall. And
They're
they
using
were-
both spaces.
And that's right, they're using both spaces, and they're in the handicap spot all the time, so.
Did they buy a placard
For handicap,
for parking?
I don't think that they were told to buy a placard. We gave them permission to park there, with 2 criterias: one, that they wouldn't park in the handicap, so that it would be handicap accessible to folks that are coming into Town Hall, and number 2, that they left their phone number with highway, and when they called, and highway police, when they called, they were to go out and move the vehicle, and they said no problem. I personally am the one that called and talked with them.
Is overnight parking allowed in
No.
that parking lot?
No, but we granted it to them.
In Lot D,
That's correct.
no, there's no overnight parking.
Do they have handicap placards or plates?
Placard.
Yes, if they have handicap, they're exempt.
If they choose to park in that
Just,
handicap.
I think if you just call them that they have to move, Dennis or whatever the policeman on duty has to call and say, hey, in 1 hour, they're plowing, and if you don't move the vehicle so that they can plow, it will be subject to tow. Well, we can't say it will be subject to tow because they're handicapped.
You
However,
can't tow a handicap car in
They're
a snow
exempt.
emergency?
they're exempt.
I
Well,
don't think in a snow
I
emergency.
think you'd need to check with the courts on that one, Catherine. I'm not saying yea or nay on that one.
The Governor's Council has a
Okay, what else you got on your agenda?
And with regard to,
couple more, but that's it for tonight.
You sure?
You better,
We have some non-publics that we need to take into, those are delicious, by the way. Take into consideration, and Chief, do you have anything in public for us?
Nothing that's pressing.
Okay, you're going to come next Wednesday at 5:30 to be prepared to answer the questions on the leasing. And Joe also has, you do have that?
Yep.
I have it.
You have it with you?
Look at it between now and then.
Okay. Do you have copies, or,
Yeah, for you, and I'll just give them to you.
okay, and then we could,
Take them and look at
What's he have?
the information on the lease.
We want to have both cars, though, right? Both models?
Well,
Is
the
this-
terms are going to be the same.
Is this just on the SUV?
It's both.
It's both, okay.
Good.
And
Bones.
Nice job.
Want a cookie?
Al, I put a note.
You put a note?
Yeah, that, you know how it says budgeted, circle one, that isn't filled out again.
Okay.
Joyce, who did these minutes? Eliza? Dennis Gates.
Okay. We have two different things here. One says 2015 vehicle quotes, and one says 2015 vehicle quotes and lease information.
I know one of them had one, and the other one's an updated one with autos. Can I see?
Checks.
Yeah, that's the difference, see the price difference. So they're the same.
So we need more of these
You want
then.
to go with this one?
Wow,
If they say
that's painful.
where it's updated, so those are just spares. So as long as everyone gets this one where it's
We don't have
underlined.
enough.
All right, I'll make some copies of
Three.
that. Three?
Yep.
Just do I have to put a comment?
There is a,
Oh, no, just put it in.
there is a clip.
Want some pineapple or anything up here?
What do they call those?
Oh, it hurts when
I
they...
call them Italian cookies.
Yeah, okay.
Like, they're like wedding cookies or
Amaretto
something.
or something.
Joe, gonna hurt to sign this one.
I might not sign it then.
$1.2 million.
What's it going to, though?
Doesn't make any difference, it's still gonna
Belknap
hurt.
County is 666,000. Oh, these are the checks that go with that.
We're gonna have to discuss this in non-public.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Boy, does that make me angry.
Wah.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
we're going to take this information back with us, and then if we've got any questions on Wednesday, we'll ask the chief on it. Is that okay? Everybody?
Yours on the line, it says lease.
Yeah, I think I got one.
So it's it looks like $1,000 more, John, for the SUV. Oh, $3,000 if you include the light. All right. Okay,
Quick question, does that come, since that's the SUV model, does that come with a special place to mount the radio now that's different?
It's the same exact console.
So I mean, the actual,
does it come with the rack?
Where you store the stuff.
Those they actually mounted they mounted to the back of the back seat. It's a different, so, because you can't put that tray in. the
Right.
SUV.
So they mount it to the back of the
We saw
back seat.
both, like the back seat has a separate prisoner petition, that's why there's a price difference at OME, because they have to add that extra cage petition. Then underneath that, where that laptop's mounted.
so it's like a double cage.
Yeah.
Okay. Any more business to come before us in a public session? If not, I will make a motion to go into non-public per RSA 91A:3, and this will be personnel, legal, and I have my list.
Joe asked? I know Joe asked for something else for that non-public.
Well, the question I had would be folded into that non-public, yeah.
Under that category.
No, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Yeah, I'll point it out when
All right, that's it. Do I hear a second?
Second,
Roll call vote.
yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Aye.
okay.
Do we ever find out what happened about the generator? And
Let's look at these motions. I
I'd
think
like to
those
make a
can all
motion
be
to seal the
public.
minutes of the non-public
Nothing there
session as they
bad if I
pertain to
write it right.
personnel permanently and as they pertain to legal issues until such time as those issues might be finalized.
It just makes it so much easier for us to do payroll if these are public, because it's hard for us to get the information.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
They sealed them.
Aye. So we can now make the motion about
Have to seal these.
pay.
It's
The
all- it's all
discussions,
public.
not the results.
We need that information so we can implement it.
The results are public.
The motion.
The information, no, hold on a minute. The information, the motion, when we decide to make a wage difference or make an employee full-time, part-time to full-time, that becomes public information.
Correct.
It's not the discussion is
Correct.
what's sealed.
Correct, but there is no discussion written there.
The motion is public.
Okay. So his vote to seal is sealing those motions.
We can
Okay,
make them again. We can announce the
Right.
the
Or
results.
just announce the results then.
I will, okay.
But there's nothing that's,
In the public side.
So in the
all the board
public,
has to do is give permission for you to reveal that information.
because this is one of the problems we had.
good night. Make a motion to, no, I'm not going to, that's too confusing to make a motion to let them reveal what's on.
I'll make a motion to allow the information regarding, the public information regarding the wage increases for those positions to become public, and everything else will remain sealed.
We already have a motion on the floor, technically.
Hasn't been seconded.
I'll second it.
You did?
No, we already, the one
already
to
sealed
seal
the
the minutes?
Yeah, that-
We already
Oh, that's
voted
all
on that.
done. This is a new motion.
This is a new one.
Well, shut my mouth. It's a black hole down here, I'm telling you.
So can I write down your motion? So, okay, so, yeah, Pat and moved, and you seconded to seal the minutes. Roll call vote, okay. So now,
So in public session, now that the tape is running,
yep,
I made a
We-
motion to
to
release the,
release the information, release the motions on wage increases
that are public.
that are public to
Are we
the
gonna-
public.
Are we going to state them, or is it just going to be a part of the minutes?
Whatever's public information can be
Right.
released.
To be released. Whatever is public information can be released. And
Now
who
we have to
seconded it that?
I thought you did.
I did.
yes, you did.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and that's fine,
Yeah.
because it's just,
So now you have permission to release that
one.
information as we go along.
2, 3, 4, just 4 things, 4 wage-related things.
That's correct. Make a motion to adjourn.
No, second.
All those in favor?
And what was the motion?
Adjourn.
Aye.
Oh, yes!
Oh, I thought we were going to discuss safety stuff.
Aye.